All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. Week 3. Welcome back. It's the PR podcast. It's your boys, the dynamic duo, Matt and Brian, back again. We're going to talk about pixels. Wahoo.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, starting off this week, though, we do need to make a small note. One of our players this season, Joel, did drop. So our PRs will be a little shorter coming from here on out because there will be one less game played, potentially.
Mhm.
I don't think we'll be talking about if there's like a practice game that week. I don't believe we'll talk about it, but we are excited for everyone of the following games that we have here. So it'll just be, I believe, 8 games now, 7 9.
Yes. Correct.
And we're going to jump right into Bannon versus Ernest, which was a really cool set, actually.
This is a really, really cool set. This is between two of our new players, so we really get to see, what they're doing. We see Omastar Gengar. So obviously Omastar is threatening spikes immediately, and Gengar probably, if it's offensive, can just take out Omastar with definitely an HP Grass, but even like Thunderbolt, I think will do enough.
Thunderbolt will do a ton of damage, yeah. And it's a pretty interesting 50-50 because the Omastar isn't like in a winning matchup at all, but getting a spike up is huge turn 1. So
Yeah, because Ernest Rapid Spinner is Hitmonchan, and Bannon having Zapdos means that Hitmonchan doesn't really want to be around too much, Alright, so we will see turn 1, we see Taunt, which I really like. That was awesome. And the Giga Drain, like, dude, like, that's like perfect. It's like, I'm gonna fight lead Omastar, I'm gonna shut it down, and I'm gonna take it out.
Like I'm watching DPP leads.
Yeah. Shout out to Azulf.
Exactly. But Gengar taking a pretty good trade here.
And we see
No spikes getting up, only getting like 60% on him, or 40% left on him after this. I'd say that's pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. Then we see Sableye. Sableye is really cool because it is the only ghost with reliable recovery in Recover. It also has knockoff to be annoying. And it checks Gengar decently well in this matchup, especially coupled with Pursuit, which this Sableye does have. Doesn't go for it here, so he goes for knockoff, which is a fair play.
A little unlucky on the static there, but a really good play. And into, in my opinion, one of the hardest counters to Raichu and Pikachu. Solid grass type with defense, then puts up the Sun.
And lets off a Solar Beam that just deletes Gligar off the face of the earth. So
I feel like we haven't seen Gligar do anything from
No, we haven't. And then we
game.
also see the nice 2-for-1. So Executor really did a great job.
Yeah, Bannon was really happy he got that 2v1 that game. He was popping off about it later on in chat to me, like how happy he was that he did it in this game 1.
Yeah.
And
so,
it's tough because you want us to keep your special walls alive for Executor, but you never know. You just never know when he's gonna boom.
Yeah, especially when you have another powerful special attacker who can take good use of the Sun with Typhlosion, and then bring it in immediately. Not like, Ernest has Suicune, which is going to hardball Typhlosion pretty hard. But like having the Sun up, you go, you know what? I have Pataya Berry. If Suicune wants to kind of start going, the Sun is going to weaken its surfs. I can throw off some powerful hits, and I can make Suicune rest, and then I can go and make progress in another way with Zapdos, which I think was a really good way. Just going, I'm going to capitalize on what I got right now.
Exactly. As long as Bannon still had his Zapdos around, he never really had to fear this coming in.
Yeah, we see like 23 to Suicune with Flamethrower is kind of crazy.
Oh yeah, and this is a bulky Suicune too.
And I really like that.
Here.
Yeah, it was an interesting double. Just because, like, I guess Ernest is trying to stall out the Sun. It knows Gengar can take, if it's got HP Grass, right? It can switch in, take it, and then it can get out of there, go back to Suicune. Sure, you lose a little bit of health, but you're playing like you have rest, so you don't really mind losing too much HP. Let's see, and then we're gonna see that move again. And Bannon kind of calls out this little play and goes right for the sub, and can just start picking away Suicune while it starts to set up.
Yeah, 35 is very nice and pretty calm mind, especially for a non-stab move.
Yeah.
But it is a little tough to get it down right now. He's either going to need a crit or he's going to have to switch at some point.
Yeah.
Because now the hidden powers are doing pretty much nothing.
Yeah, and I kind of like the sacking Typhlosion play because you don't let Suicune rest on you. And if it did rest, then you've got Zapdos for free. And then it's just letting off these Thunderbolts. Like, look at that.
Exactly. There's no Gligar. You can spam it for free.
Yeah.
And then the baton pass to Omastar was crazy.
That was a great play. Great play.
Wow, that was a move.
Yeah. And then you can start to, you could throw off Surfs, which is going to do a huge chunk to Gengar. If he'd even spiked there, that would have been crazy too.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ernest calls out the Zapdos switch and goes for Ice Punch, which would have definitely finished. I would say definitely,
know if it would have finished, so I'm going to be real.
No, I don't think so. Because that Giga Drain did kill.
A hard read that something else is coming in, which is pretty impressive that he got the Zapdos.
Yeah. It was a good play there, and then, like, look at this Thunderbolt damage. Like, that's
we just talked about how good Zapdos is an electric type. Taking that Ice Punch for 40 and then dishing out a resisted 40 back. It's what a beast.
Zapdos is a goat.
Zapdos is very good. And then
I think
Raichu out here doing the best he can, and one of the tricks Raichu has is a nice little encore, and we get to see Sableye kind of locked into recover here.
Yeah.
Bandit choosing to stay in was really risky, honestly.
Because now Suicune's sleeping.
Right. And you don't know how long this encore is going to end. I believe he gets the minimum roll, which is really good, because if he got 6 turns there, it would have been pretty bad.
And I don't really know why he went for Toxic there. I mean, you have the knockoff. Like, if you get rid of Suicune's lefties, right, then you can get your Zap in, and you can start to throw off the Thunderbolts. Because now Suicune
probably just forgot that he couldn't put... Honestly, probably just forgot he couldn't Toxic a Sleeping Mon.
Honestly, though.
That's my guess. But here comes Zappington's in. Gets him in before the Calm Lines get too much, which is pretty good. Because look at that damage. That's ridiculous. Yeah. And live the Ice Beam. My goodness.
Yeah. So if there was any question if that was a bulky Suicune or not, you have your answer.
Yeah, that definitely should have killed.
Yeah. And now Zapdos is just kind of able to go crazy.
I'm a little surprised that isn't you sent in Regirock instead of Gengar. I would think that Gengar outspeeds Zapdos there, right?
Yeah, I would hope so. You know.
Yeah, unless it's some odd bulky Gengar, but I mean, and it very well could have been.
Yeah. Now Suicune's going back to sleep.
Yeah, take it a quick snooze.
You know, Omastar can't really hurt it too much.
Nah,
but Omastar just found a way to stay alive this entire game, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, especially because it's a little bit faster than Regirock, and looking at Bandon's team, the current 3 that we see, not knowing the 4th, he kind of needed it if that Regirock was at high HP.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. And now, like, with Suicune going down, Zapdos got all its HP back.
Yep.
Right, comes in on a Toxic, and we see... Yeah, we see that Omastar is faster. So that Surf is going to come out, or Toxic, which is...
Wow, that was a cool move. It was Toxic, huh? But the Surf, look at that damage. Oh,
that
God, I'm not sure.
That critical hit was huge, but at the end of the day, that Surf would have put it in Zapdos range anyway.
Yeah, I'm like, if that didn't kill, who? I mean, Omastar has what, 125 or 115 special? It's very, very strong.
Yeah, that we do see that the Gengar is faster, as expected. Yeah. And Sableye can just kind of wall this thing out at this point. He's got Nightshade. Yeah. It's not Pursuit. I don't know why I thought it was Pursuit.
I believe it was at one point, and then it was switched to give him a little more reliable damage, because Knockoff does not have good damage in this generation for anybody running it. It's only there as a support move.
Yeah, so this is a great game for Bandon. I like that he also kept that 6th hidden. You know, granted, we know it's Snorlax because, you know, we know it's a draft league and that's his other OU Pokemon, so we know it's here.
Right.
But the fact that...
I checked, I'm like, who's his other OU? Ah, that's right, it's Snorlax.
Yeah, but the fact that its set is hidden still puts even more advantage in his court.
Yeah.
And then going into game 2, we're going to see, all right, is Snorlax going to, you know, make its presence known?
And funny enough, that Giga Drain was, I guess, a roll, because now it just straight up one-shot, and now Ben completely lost his Omastar game 2, which... I mean, moving him in after how badly he got beat game 1 was certainly a mood. I don't think I would have done it, because you have this really good Sableye switching you can do instead.
Yeah, for sure. We see Choice Band Gligar. This has been very common, I feel like.
It's just such a shame that Gligar as a Mon isn't, like, that good of an attacker without it. He's very... No, I'm just going to call it mid. I love the design, you know. I love Gliscor in Gen 4, but Gligar, that power really is missing something. And without the Eviolite, like, it's really hard to use him, I think.
Yeah. So we
But I'm sure we'll get
have
some more.
kind of been, neglecting what's going on in this game. And then we see Protect from Chansey.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Which is crazy because Bandit really got away with one in game 1. Now that he knows that it had Protect, it's not likely to get away with another boom on it.
Yeah, you're going to be really hard-pressed to boom again. Especially with Gengar coming in on the Switch, too.
Yeah, we see this
So smart Solar Beam there. Look at that damage.
Huge damage.
It also gives me some information about Ernest's team. If I see Protect Chansey, Toxic Protect, I'm pretty sure it's a Wish Passer at that point.
Yeah, 100%. Especially with Regirock. It's because this is a really good special wall, alongside Chansey. If you invest in Regirock,
I don't hate Bannon here just keeping Executor and slamming moves because the Gengar went down to Psychic, which isn't a very common move on Executor.
Yeah. And Eggy's done his job, right? You boom into
the Eggy kind of did his job, yeah. And
keep him honest.
You didn't have to boom there. You knew the Protect was coming, but
yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, one of those. Keep them honest.
Yeah.
They want to get cute, and you blow up in their face. And now we see Snorlax, and there is no Gengar, and Chansey, and Snorlax is doing his thing.
And he's really going to start doing his thing here because he just got locked into it.
Yeah, the profanity coming from Snorlax right now is just truly off the charts.
I cannot believe this man.
Yeah.
And
he's getting banned from all
my
kinds
Minecraft
of forums right now.
I will say this though, and this is to both players. I mean, we're going to see it this turn if you play it here.
Encore ends.
And we see immunity on Snorlax. This isn't the most common ability, but in Gen 3 it definitely is.
It is, yes.
So you have to understand that you cannot Toxic Snorlax, and that's what makes him such a problem.
Yes.
Theoretically, Ernest could have kept the Raichu in. I know the damage wasn't very good with Thunderbolt, but you can Encore lock that Snorlax for the rest of your life. And now that he's in return instead of Curse range, you've effectively just wasted the Regirock, and you no longer can Encore lock him into Curse until he runs out of PP or whatever. So it's really unfortunate that happened, because if he just read ahead and said that, this Snorlax has immunity, I can't Toxic it, I'm sure his game plan would have changed.
Yeah. But now at this point, just looking at the team that Ernest has, now that Regirock tried to boom, it did 30%. That was funny.
Very funny, honestly.
Snorlax is going to win the game.
Yep, and there is no answer, unfortunately. Always have your Snorlax answers ahead of time, people. Yeah. He's very, very good. Goodbye,
sure. It's funny because Regirock is pretty good into Snorlax, but
absolutely
not at +4 defense. Then that's when it's
so a little Snorlax sweep for the fans out there. I know 3 of you appreciate that.
Yeah, we love Snorlax. So Bannon was cooking, honestly.
Yeah,
he played well. It never felt like he was at a disadvantage, honestly, at any point, even in a tricky lead matchup.
Yeah, it definitely held the pace.
He was just Omastar, I can't get up spikes immediately. No problem. I got something for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really good because that's hard for some people to identify.
Yeah. I also think his team is one of the teams that really relies well on some of the passive chip removal. So the knockoff strats that he's using with Sableye are, I think, really coming out to help him later on in the match, because his team isn't one that can break through without needing some setup ahead of time. You need the Sunny Day on Executor or the Curse on the Snorlax or something. And getting those early game knockoffs and even attempting to go for the spikes, I think, really helps facilitate his game plan quite nicely.
Yeah, for sure. So, good job, Bandit. 3-0. Not bad for a first dive into competitive mods. Because I know he's grinding, he's trying to learn as much as he can, and he's playing well, and it's showing.
Mm-hmm.
So, love that. So, we'll go into our next set. This is against 2 0-2 teams. Definitely looking for that first win. We got Ethan and Dante. And if we're looking on lead, we see Shedinja, and we see Old Reliable Quagsire from Dante.
Now, I think this is a hard call out by Ethan, seeing that Dante has brought Quag lead the last few games. And just saying, you know what, if he Quag leads again, I've got the ultimate counter here. Using a little bit of silly technology to make this work, because Shedinja's a bad Pokemon. We all know this.
Very bad Pokemon.
But sometimes he can get going. So putting an Alakazam on that was a great play. You threatened the fire punch. There is no Shadow Sneak in this gen, so it can't really hurt you.
Yep.
So then Ethan brings out his Metagross and gets T-waved.
Which was, honestly, that was a good play from Dante, because he does show the knockoff in the next turn. So it's like you come in being like, hey, I can hit you. You need to run. And then throwing off that T-Wave, really good, especially in a Metagross. It's a Pokemon that definitely likes to be a little quick, but doesn't also rely on its speed. I think that was a really nice play. And it knocks off the Choice Band. It's still going to die, but...
Yeah, I'm really sad that the Choice Band knockoff didn't help him whatsoever, but I did like what he was going for.
Yeah.
I do think Dante needs to prioritize keeping his Alakazam a little bit more alive, though. Maybe running some more defense EVs in it or something, or just like keeping, really slamming the Psychic button later in the game, I think will help him a lot. And then we see a really funny Leech Seed thing there, dealing 100% damage. Very funny. Thank you, Shedinja.
Very cool.
And we get into a fun little matchup here with Calm Mind Entei versus Blissey. Yeah. You're all about to see why Entei is a pretty cool guy.
Entei is really cool. He's the only fire type with Calm Mind, and he also has 115 base HP. So his substitute will not... You don't see it here because he'd already fire blasted into it, but Seismic Toss will not break the sub. So you could just set up on Blissey all day long, and you have Flamethrower, and you have HP Grass for Quagsire, and this is a set that is going to just rip apart Dante's team.
Right.
Like, the way that his structure is set up, there's not much he can really do to this Entei.
Right. As soon as Entei hit the behind the sub and got the boost, it was kind of like, I'm not going to call it Jover, but what he needs as an answer is something faster on the physical side to hit it. And if he doesn't have that, it's pretty much over.
Yeah.
Which, if I take a look at Dante's team, doesn't really seem to have that. Maybe Moltres, but if this gets down low enough, and you
Rock.
Say Moltres running Drill Peck.
Yeah, I wish Moltres got Drill Peck.
I'm pretty sure he does.
It doesn't.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, just Zapdos. Also,
yeah, look at these Flamethrowers doing 43. Yeah. Like, you have the lefties on the Entei now. Blissey's forced to do Soft Boil or die. So
and then the burn comes, and that's it.
So just something to note for both Blissey teams out there. You got to be aware of the sub Calm Minders who have over 100 base HP. Or 100 or higher base HP, because this exact situation is what they will do to you.
It'll happen to you.
And here's the biggest bird.
He's at 11 HP Grass.
God, I love Moltres.
Me too. But then you'd eat 45%. And then, see, this is...
He roars!
Yeah, so this is a learning opportunity. When you identify a situation where Blissey is losing to Entei, you have a way to get rid of Entei off the field with all those boosts. Don't wait 10 turns. Just do it.
Yeah, if I knew he had more Moltres in the back.
You see Entei come in on your Blissey. If you need to heal, you heal. That's fair. Then you go into your Moltres and you just get rid of it, and you worry about it later until you can position yourself a little bit better.
Absolutely. And this goes for pretty much everybody running phases. I think very important. Oh my gosh, look at that crit damage.
That's because Moltres is a good Pokemon.
Very good Pokemon. And that's a cool little roar there by Dante saying,
I mean, that was another one that says, no, you're not going to do your stupid bullshit in front of me.
Right, and now Entei's at 3%, and he can't set the sub anymore. In danger of getting Seismic tossed, if that Blissey was a little healthier. And a very, very unfortunate miss there by both of them, actually.
By both, yeah. But I think that miss, two miss, oh, that's tough. Never mind.
Wow. Moltres really is the biggest bird. I feel like... Wow.
And then we see some Zoom.
Wow. I mean, I get that you burned and you've been dodging the Rock Blast, but like, you gotta know it's 4 times super effective. I think you just gotta get out of there.
That was a call out, and it didn't work.
Did not work.
Damn, Rock Blast sucks.
Especially when you have a Quagsire in the back, yeah.
Was that Choice Band? I feel like that had to be Choice Band.
It had to have been. Yeah, that did 40 behind the burn. That has to have been. And now we see a really good double switch here by Dante into Weezing, because Weezing actually kind of goes hard right about now if it has Flamethrower.
Yeah, but we also don't see an item on Weezing at all.
Oh, you're right.
That
implying maybe like a Choice Band or something.
A little confusing. Maybe it is Choice Banded. Don't put Choice Band Weezing. Don't do that.
I really want to explode though, Matt.
Don't do that. It's not worth it. Not having lefties makes your Weezing significantly worse.
Yeah. Shout out to Big Quag here. He's gonna take like no damage.
Yeah, we
Cool.
love Quag.
We love Quag. Weirdly enough, I think Quagsire, or sorry, if the Venusaur was still asleep, right? And Quagsire was here, I think he can actually take on the Breloom. Breloom's not known for running grass moves.
Yeah.
And you have Ice Beam.
Yeah, one thing here, just like, because I had pointed it out last week or the first week we did this, about knowing when to prioritize Explosion.
Oh, for Ethan, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
this is a good
time. It is a 50-50. It could be damp.
Could be damp. That's true.
It was damp against Chris.
That's a good time to think, hey, you know, maybe boom here. But you're right, it could be damp.
And I think it probably was, but yeah. He has the backup plan, which is the good Spore user, not Smeargle. And this Focus Punch is going to deal way too much damage because we already saw it at 36 on the first switch, and now you don't have.
And now there's no lefties.
Yeah, no lefties, but wow. What generation is it?
Yeah, I was going to say.
No, Quag, no.
Yeah,
he actually took the hit quite well.
Entei is still alive, and
you gotta hope for the wake up, yeah.
Entei's gonna just clean up.
No, he just cleans up.
Speed at this point, it's just too fast for everything.
Knowing what Mon Ethan has in the back, I'm actually surprised this game was so close, because if this Entei went down earlier just due to keeping the Blissey alive, the only Mon left was a Ninjask that couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Would have been down. Yeah, which I'm a little surprised Ethan never got the Ninjask in more reliably, but we'll see if he does game 2.
For sure, and we'll get right into it.
So a quick switch to Armaldo, who gets yawned, and I like that yawn.
I thought was very interesting, whether this was like trying to call out like a Moltres switching or Alakazam. And then I also like the yawn play because it also just kind of eases your prediction a bit. You're not immediately threatened by Shedinja, you just kind of, and then...
He's just kind of there.
Yeah. And you make your opponent kind of make the plays.
Alright, so let's see. Oh, he protects. Interesting, lets this Quag go to bed. Then we get Ninjask finally hitting the field against Weezing.
Ninjask is here versus Weezing. For all you Weezing enthusiasts, this is a winning matchup.
Yes, just hit moves.
We see Mimic.
Oh my god, not that move.
Not that move.
We'll see if it's banded after all.
It's
not. I do wonder what that is.
I'm very curious.
But yeah, for anybody facing a Ninjask, the ultimate goal is don't let him get the sub up.
Yeah. Also, where's the Sludge Bomb?
It's there.
Why are we not using Sludge Bomb?
I don't know. A couple things I've seen Dante do in both games now is when you know the opponent has sub and is faster than you, don't let them... Like, you're trying to hit the stats when they don't have the sub, but they're faster. They're just going to set up the sub again. You gotta... You can never, like, expect them not to play right. And playing right is always putting the sub back up. Especially for Ninjask. He's just stalling for time.
Yep, he just wants the speed so he can get out of there. He's waiting for you to mess up. Because
yeah, so
when you mess up, then it gets to do its thing. If you don't let it do what it wants to do, it's a useless Pokemon.
Right, it gets the 1 speed pass, it's at 1 HP for the rest of the game, whatever.
Yeah.
And now we get it, because like this could have been a regular Breloom, not a Breloom behind a sub, which is much scarier to deal with.
Yeah, because then you get
focus. We're going to watch it blow up Blissey.
Blissey dies.
Yeah.
Subscribe for more Blissey dying.
Hey.
So this is also a we see on turn 9, right?
Yeah.
Dante goes into Blissey as we get the BP into Breloom. This comes from identifying that is a fighting type, big attack stat, and a big fist. I need to get my Blissey out of here and go into Weezing. Always. No staying in. There's no reason to do it. If you get hit, you'll die.
Yeah, both Blissey players just need to prioritize not just keeping the Blissey healthy, but like really only having it on the right
fighting
mons.
Types.
Yeah, respecting the mons that can hit it for its 5 attack. And then he goes and Will-O-Wisp. And I'm a little surprised here by Ethan switching in Metagross into the Weezing. Like, I know it's probably not dealing too much damage, but I don't know. I feel like it's Dante's only physical wall. So, but then I look at Ethan's team and I go, well, he doesn't really have an answer to Weezing. So
no,
it is just kind of with Metagross.
Yeah, but again,
and that meteor match still did way too much damage. I'm gonna be real.
It did, yeah.
Oh, he woke up.
And then he woke up and gets the Earthquake crit.
Oh my goodness.
Which is just...
Quag early runner MVP this season.
Yeah, Quag is up there. And he's doing it.
All right, so now we're doing the right thing. We're hitting the Ice Beam on the Ninjask. Ethan's doing what he wants. He wants to pass this to probably Metagross or something.
Metagross burned, so it's probably not him.
Oh,
and we see that Weezing is at 36, so this might just be a Breloom, another Breloom opportunity. Because
and then we get the
there's the yawn
again, right there.
There's the yawn.
Like on paper, if he's not subbing, I get it.
Or even funnier.
Oh, yeah, now that he's behind the sub, he doesn't have to worry about a yawn. So
it is Shedinja Gaming, and Dante is stuck.
There is no answer.
There is nothing, and we are watching Shedinja Gaming.
Oh, this is my favorite thing.
I know, you're very excited about this.
Look at that damage, my goodness. Oh, no!
We're zooming.
I don't think he respected Shedinja enough.
No. Did we get a boost?
No boost, Ethan.
No boost.
You know what? Replay the set. Wasn't real.
Yeah. Oh, we got a boost. Yeah, we got a boost. Yeah! And now Shedinja is going
4 for
to
5?
remove.
How is he 4 for 5 on boost, Matt?
I don't know.
Crazy.
And I'm 0 for all of them.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Quag still living that move.
We love Quag. And as much as Shedinja's a gimmicky mon, you still kind of need to be ready for it because he shouldn't have had the sub up. He should have been able to get yawned out, right, with the correct play.
Yep.
But even so, I'm sure like 3 of these Pokemon can't even touch it. So like Venusaur, and let's see, and like Quag can't even touch the thing besides statusing it. So then 2 of them can't do anything behind a sub.
Yep.
Like, it's tough. You just have to mentally think, oh, if I do see Shedinja, which Pokemon needs to stay alive for it? Just because we can't, you get in this endgame situation, it's like, well, I got Shedinja, and then the lap track plays.
Yeah.
So. But good job, Ethan. He made it work. I know he loves his gimmicky mons, and he got a good week to test out a few of them. So I hope he learned a little bit about finally using Breloom. I don't think he used them yet. So.
Yeah. I like that the team it wasn't just set up for Shedinja. It was like, this was a little bit more of a variation than we've seen before, where it was, all right, Ninjask is going to do the funny pass. Mm-hmm. And now it was, I also have these other Pokemon that can do a lot of things that don't rely on getting Ninjask things. I have that mode in the team to make it work.
Yeah, he has a surprising amount of just monstrous physical coverage, like the combination of Metagross, Breloom, and Bandit Armaldo, right? Yeah. Like just able to chunk, 1 or 2 of them's going to chunk the wall, and the third one's going to finally break open the dam kind of deal. So I do like that. And then the Calm Mind Entei as kind of the back note in case something else needs to happen, and really good in this week matchup. So I like the way he built the team. Mm-hmm. And congrats on his first win for sure.
Yeah. And you get the funny Shedinja sweep, and you get to prove
him wrong. I think everybody
enjoys
that's
that. A big deal for. I've been wrong many times. So, this is my set.
This was a great set. Second place set.
I played Jordan this week. And
Jordan finally back. We love
going in. Yes, Jordan returning from LA. Hope you had a good time. And now that we're back to gaming, I lead Vaporeon into Porygon 2. And this is my second encounter with Porygon, and the second time I've wanted to blow my brains out. I'm sick of this duck. He makes me sad. He makes me angry.
I can't believe you.
So with my Vaporeon lead, I was trying to cover for basically anything that wasn't Porygon, because I want to get a sub off. But, with Thunderbolt, it does a little too much, and I'm kind of stuck. And so the beginning of this game, there isn't too much to really talk about. I am just trying to get in a position, and we see Crawdaunt. Brian, you wanna Crawdaunt?
Yeah, this is probably the only good mon that Jordan brought this week, outside of maybe Porygon, because
Porygon was the best mon she brought this week. Don't even lie.
Well, I'm just gonna say, I know the reason, you went over with the Vaporeon Mischievous kind of combination to lock down that Porygon, but when I look at Jordan's team, it's very passive, and this is the only mon out of that entire list that can even deal with Mischievous correctly. So I'm a big fan that it's here and it's in early, because this dark typing is very, very convenient. And with pretty good stats on both the attacking and the special side, it's able to run a lot of mixed coverage that your team doesn't like. So I'm happy that's here. It's, it's not always going to be here every week, but look at it. It's chunking down Skarmory pretty nicely.
So as you can notice, we are on turn 7. I still have not hit a damaging move. I have gotten a spike to lay some pressure, but I'm also kind of stuck doing this shuffle back and forth.
Yeah, and also, just of note, this is kind of like a really... It may not seem good to not always be throwing out damage moves, especially when you see your opponent chunking you for like 30, 40 a hit. But if you have the game plan to facilitate it, especially on a Skarmory team, it will pay back in dividends later.
Yeah. I think this was the best play Jordan made the entire set. Okay. Knowing that I can't pull off my sub stuff, and on the first turn, I subbed and then said, nope, not working, I'm out of here. She brought in Camerupt on my best answer to it when I was forced to switch. Which I thought was really good, because when she did that, I was like, shit.
I mean, I do think like it was good, but you still get the switch momentum from the baton pass anyways. What are you hearing about that sub there? Are you thinking maybe she'd go?
I did not think she would stay in and risk camera up to was pretty good versus, like if I had like Raikou shit. Like I didn't think she would want to keep Camel in and maybe try to make another play while I brought Vape back in.
Yeah.
And I could pull off a sub because Brick Break will 2-hit KO. And I was like, I need to get rid of Camel more than she needs to just click Earthquake on me right now. So that's, in hindsight, it was a bad play. So now I kind of just have to, switch around again. And here we are again on turn 13. I haven't done anything.
Oh, that's not doing enough damage.
Yeah. So this is the start of Misdreavus. What I kind of made Misdreavus do is it was the Parastrapper set, and I paired it with Destiny Bond, where I basically said, no, you don't play. I kill you now.
I'm a little surprised you didn't stay in a mean look or protect that turn.
I thought about it, but I just figured that seeing Parasong would want to force a switch.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to get literally anything, which is why I brought in Medicham. And at this point, I'm just like, oh my god, I just need to get some momentum going. And I finally get my chance, which is so I set up that Parasong to force a switch, and I needed to kind of get on it at the right time. Last turn, I got it wrong, so this turn I said, okay, let me try a second plan, which is I need to pass a sub to Scyther, so I can start to rip holes through everything. And having Vaporeon in on Camel means that it has to switch unless it wants to die. So I get a free sub, and she goes Claydol, which is perfectly fine with me. I was expecting Porygon to come in, and I was going to pass this sub right to Medicham and just kind of use Medicham until it died. But with this, I'm able to get my sub and go right to Scyther. DJ Crazy Times is in, and she goes for Spin. I don't really know why. I mean, I get it. You want to get rid of the spike, sure. But I have a sub up, so you're giving me a free turn, and I am a water type. So
yeah, you could have just slammed the surf button there, even if you wanted to like waste a turn.
Yeah, so I have Scyther in on a free turn to get up an SD.
Yeah, and this is probably Jordan's biggest team weakness, is the inability to deal with hyper setup. Like, I look at her team and I think there's a lot of fat walls there.
She's weak to fighting. She's weak to Bug and Ghost.
Well, not just the typings, but just so much as like there's a lot of opportunity to get set up due to the passiveness of the team. So you got to be careful when you let that setup happen. You can't be in a bad position. And right now we're watching as Scyther does 80% to Blissey and has a Lumberry, so he's completely fine.
So part of this where it's like, oh, if Blissey's chipped from spikes and everything, right? I could set up an SD in front of it while it tries to T-Wave me. Ice Beam doesn't do a lot. A Seismic Toss is, whatever. And then I could go crazy.
Like, look at all this damage that's coming in. Nice Silverwind, by the way, because you didn't need the...
I actually was just going for boosts. I wasn't trying to predict a switch. I said Silverwind will kill. If I get a boost, the game ends.
That's exactly why people should run Silverwind, that exact reason. Yeah. No boost for you, though. No super for you.
I'm not using this just for...
But I just want to talk about, like, when you pause it here, Scyther doesn't die because he's a beast, right? So Porygon's dead, Claydol's dead, Blissey's dead, Camerup's about to die. So you've sacked 4 Mons to get off a single spin because you lost 1 turn of momentum against Scyther. Like, that's how crazy it is sometimes in this gen, and you got to be aware. You got to be ready for it.
I took the first. Let's see. When did Vaporeon?
Like what? 17 turns?
Yeah, 17 turns. I did not click a single damaging attack.
Actually, I don't think you clicked it until turn 20. I think you were still setting up a Swords Dance on 19.
Turn 20. Yeah, turn 20, I hit my first damaging move. But at this point, I was set up in a position where I can literally win the entire game.
Right.
And that's one where, like, we're going to see this in future sets. Having a vision and patience to know, like, hey, like, there's more than just, I kill this thing now, it's dead, I don't worry about it.
Yeah, positioning's big. And then we see SD on the Sceptile, which I think is a pretty funny set against the Skarmory team, but it could work.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's funny.
So Jordan gets for Seismic Toss there, which was a good play. I was fully predicting a
like T-Wave or something.
No, not even that, just a soft boiled because.
Oh yeah, to recover it up. Yeah.
Might as well, because Skarmory typically doesn't run damaging moves. Mm-hmm. I really wanted to run Drill Peck in this matchup, but I didn't for like Sceptile and low HP Blissey. Right, but I knew I had Flareon in the back. And I can
you got a lot of Blissey answers right now.
Yeah, I can kind of pick off whatever I want. So it's around this time where I say goodbye to Vaporeon. She makes a good call.
Good read by Jordan there, not hitting Surf into the Vaporeon switch.
Yeah. It's like, if she had Surfed, it's like, alright, that's awesome. Like, now I can chip it down. That's good.
Right.
And then I could get Missy in, and I can lock this down. And I also think it's really cool, Jordan did not show Crunch up until this point.
Yeah.
She just surfed Missy every time before, too. So I thought, oh, cool, I'm set. And I'm able to come in and delete Crawdon.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Jordan here that you did not have show Destiny Bond until just now, because I think if that Crawdon lived, the game was actually set for Jordan. Just because it was, very, very, it probably can take the Flareon and then Skarmory can't touch it. So like, it was it's a good reason to hide moves like that. And Matt, you had that game plan going ahead of time that I know that I can take this Mischievous and just trade out anytime I want against something slower.
Yeah.
So it was a really good play by you.
Yeah.
And there was nothing Jordan could do there except just have the game knowledge to maybe expect a Destiny Bomb, but it's not that common. So like, that's tough. And it's not like you could switch. You were locked in there with Mean Look. It was so tasty.
It's kind of like between a rock and a hard place.
Exactly.
So,
but now that you have the knowledge for game 2, hopefully you can build on that, and not, and play around sacking against the Mischievous, because that was, you could tell how important Crawdon was that game. Yeah. But here you go, Matt, doing a good baton pass off first one.
I'm not gonna fuck around with this duck. I'm gonna get.
I'm a little surprised I saw Ice Beam there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, shout out to you when you said Crawdon creaming.
I didn't say that. That was Tim.
Oh, whatever.
I don't own this.
Anyway, that's how excited Brian was for Crawdon gaming. But right now, obviously, Flareon is not doing the damage I thought. This is a very physically defensive Porygon, and I get crit, which is annoying. So I kind of got to sit here with Flareon. I'm getting full paired. It's annoying.
Yeah, but you do have the wish, and that helps a lot.
I do.
I just think that Jordan needs to realize she's not doing enough damage at this point and get Porygon out.
I just want Porygon to leave.
Like, if the Flareon didn't reveal Wish, sure, chip it down, I guess. You have Recover, you have Thunderbolt, but now that your Thunderbolts are doing 20, that's a roughness.
So, here we are again. It's like, alright, turn 8. Like, I haven't hit Porygon for anything of importance.
Besides the paralyzation, it's doing fine, right?
Yeah. So, I said, you know what? Fuck you. You've lost your duck privileges.
Yeah.
And it's gone.
It's gone. It's actually gone. As soon as duck stayed in, it's Jover.
It's gone. And I got crit, and it was annoying.
Oh my gosh.
But it really didn't matter.
Yeah, you see the Mean Look Perish song in game 1. You immediately have to always play around that, because as soon as Mischievous comes in, you have to think, which Mon do I care about getting trapped? And can they take out Mischievous? And in this case, paralyzing Mischievous and trading out your duck is probably not the right play considering how important it is.
Because you
or at least how
cannot
important
trade,
it looks.
because I can say bye-bye, and you can't. And it says perish
Right.
now, and that is exactly what happens to you.
07, boys.
Yeah. So
And
Flareon
Matt,
is,
of course,
Flareon's
super
done its
happy.
job.
Having a great time.
Yeah, Flareon done its job. It's bye-bye time. And now I can kind of get the whole train going again. I can get my sub, pass that along, and bring in Medicham. And HP Electric does not break the sub.
Do you want to tell him why it doesn't break the sub,
So,
Matt?
do you know why it doesn't break the sub? I will tell you, loyal viewers at home. You see, Vaporeon has big HP stat. For this specific set, I ran 404 HP, and that is enough for a 101 HP sub. And passing that to Medicham gave me Vaporeon's HP sub, not based off Medicham's, which makes sense, right? You know, Vape made it, and he's giving it to Medicham. Sometimes you don't think about it because we don't really play with Baton Pass much. But that is why my sub was able to stay intact, and why Medicham is about to go sicko mode again. So at this point, Medicham is really just gonna clean, and Jordan booming on the sub is very unfortunate. She did it because she knew in Stadium, if you clicked Explosion on a sub, you didn't die. Which I actually didn't know. Brian, did you know that? Brian. Oh, we lost Brian. Hold on. We'll do a little cut here, and we will be right back. We have found Brian on the side of the road. He is okay.
We're just on the side of the road.
Yeah, we were talking about the Stadium Explosion.
Yes.
And how that works.
Stadium Explosion's pretty funny. If you hit Substitute in specifically just Pokemon Stadium 1 with Explosion, you don't die. You actually stay alive. However, I have no idea why they made that change. It is not a thing in mainline competitive Pokemon that is not Stadium. So if you're ever confused about how a move works because you think it works some way or another way, because it does, a lot of moves change throughout generations. You can look up the move on Bulbapedia, and it will tell you all of the moves, like what it does for each generation and the changes for each one. So for you can go to Gen 3 and see, oh hey, Explosion does blow up on sub now. So that way you don't have to, just blow up your Blissey. That being said, seeing on turn 20 here, 19, it's kind of over.
Yeah, the game is over at this point.
So, I mean, in a future situation, it might have mattered. But in this case, it doesn't. And now we see the Blissey, the Camel, I think, blow up. Not the Blissey. Blissey cannot blow up.
Blew up.
Claydol blew up, thank you. I was like, something blows up. And it doesn't actually do anything, sadly.
Yeah, and at this point, we're done here. Medicham.
Yep, Medicham is doing it again for the second week.
Yeah.
Kaboom.
Kablamo.
Oh my gosh, I had rest.
And Camel goes to bed. And I say, fuck you, here's Focus Punch.
Wow, you actually had Focus Punch, that's fun.
Oh, except it was Sleep Talk. I was bodied. But
shoutouts to Camel being a good mon, I'll say
Camel is a good mon. I've been saying it for years. You all hate on me. But
I still kind of hate it. But it did get a kill, and we appreciate that.
Yeah. So let this be your lesson in patience.
Yeah.
Speaking of patience. So this set happened. For the uninitiated, Brian is a salty bitch when he's losing.
No, it's just in general. It's not when I'm losing.
So
and it's
during this set,
Pokemon.
It was a little hostile, and it led to some not optimal gameplay. So we're gonna kind of let this one play out. Brian, if you want to kind of talk about how your team is set up and your game plan as this goes.
Yeah, so I think Corey's team might still be one of the best teams in the league, like hands down. Really scary to lead off with, and the whole plan was pretty much how do I break a hole in his team so Salamence can set up and sweep, because he is a Dugtrio team, and Dugtrio is very very easily, he can very easily kill my mon, but then have to deal with it, Mence right afterwards, so it's kind of a weird trade. That being said, we did learn a couple things from this set. Corey and Matt and I, we all realized that Mean Look does not hit through sub.
Yeah, even
the
though
parrot
it
song
said
does.
on Bulbapedia, it said it was fine.
I really,
so another
I really didn't see that.
Yeah, another instance of always check your moves, but then sometimes it's just wrong. I don't know if Showdown has it wrong or Bulbapedia is wrong, but there was nothing indicating that it wouldn't work on a sub, so that was interesting.
I know it doesn't work on Protect either, so I think it's just needs to make contact with the Pokemon.
I guess.
But anyway. There's a lot going on here with my team, but Corey had a really cool team too. He brought Flareon and Parrots trapping Misdreavus, which really, I guess, Flareon sets the tone with a really nice mixed offense, which is pretty cool against the 3 mons you've seen so far. And Misdreavus sets the passive tone with Leech Seed on Celebi, and they kind of force a lot of switches, make it really hard to set up sweep. And right now you've seen, at least on my team, you've seen a Calm Mind Alakazam and a Calm Mind Jirachi. So setup sweeping is still the name of the game, and I think these are really good counters to it.
And then this is the same Misdreavus you just saw in the last set, the Destiny Bond, and Ludicolo goes down.
It goes down hard. Lost 100% of its HP.
Yeah, he was deleted from the game. And then especially coupled like with all these like Paris trapping things making you switch, having spikes down also helps a lot.
Yeah, sure. Spikes, Paris trapping, Destiny Bond, Leech Seed, like the combination of the team is actually incredible, and I have nothing but respect for how it was built. As much as I like don't agree with like some of the moves here, like for example, sacking the big, like, you know, the I almost called it Vaporeon, sacking the Flareon there was odd. I think on paper this is probably one of the best teams I've ever seen built.
Yeah.
Just the way the game plan was initiated out and how like it kind of systematically deletes my team. It's very, very cool.
Yeah. So this turn, when you went for Psychic on the Vape and he went for BP, this kind of ended the game.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
So then Dugtrio gets to come in and delete Jirachi.
Yep. And if this was a cool Jirachi, it would have taken the hit, but the game plan did not say so. It was not a cool Jirachi. It was just Jirachi.
Yeah, so
and that's like... Yeah, you can see Mence doing the thing here, and then you can see the, this Omastar very physically defensive to take that hit so well. And now it's just Gorbis and a Dream. I don't remember who the Dream is. Do you remember who the Dream is?
It's just Steelix.
Oh yeah, that's a Dream.
So, and with what's left, right, like, we're not going to see
actually, I think... Yeah, I think I should have actually just forfeited on turn, like, 23 or something, so he didn't see that it was Steelix in the back. Yeah. Not that he was going to do anything either game, but now I'm just revealing moves for no reason. I am checking what moves he has by doing this too. Like I didn't know he had Protect on his Celebi, I think, at this point.
Yeah, you did apparently. So.
And then I'm also just kind of damage checking. So there's like there's options for each to stay in and reveal your moves, or also just to hide it. And seeing that the Surf does kill, like it's very, it should kill at 76, but knowing whether or not the Vaporeon has a lot of damage to take out Steelix is always a nice idea too.
So we go into game 2, and typically when we do our games for our viewers who are not participating in the league, we have different voice channels, and usually like during sets, like the 2 competitors, they go in the voice channel, and anyone who's online can hop in another voice, kind of commentate, talk about what's happening. Sometimes it can get a little hostile.
No, I was very upset after game 1.
Yeah,
it got here. And I think Ori was playing her along, like he was fine with it, but I think there was a point where I very much annoyed him, and he got pretty quiet.
Yeah.
And I did not read the room correctly.
Yeah, I did get a message from Corey during the game, and he said Brian is being incredibly salty. Like I can't be in here with him right now.
Yeah.
And I told him you just gotta mute you. So.
Muting is cool. The reason we went, by the way, to these chat rooms is for the focus and less about like, making the sets better rather than, having everybody just calling out moves and just like talking in your ear the whole time. So I know I was not nice that set by doing pretty much the same exact thing, but just by myself. Mm-hmm. And no, like nothing against Corey. I wasn't like, attempting to mean to him, but everybody hates a complainer. So like, I'm complaining the whole set about how Corey has all these game plan drum ideas and I'm stuck and I'm out of it, and that's no fun. We're here to have fun. Yeah. So I apologize for that. I really do. But we're on to game 2 here.
We're on to game 2. Just to
let's talk about the game.
1. Yeah, we'll talk about turn 1. So Alakazam can't beat Flareon on lead, which is funny. But Corey can.
He could if he keeps hitting Fire
understand
Blast.
that, but he goes for Fire Blast, knowing the only thing that could switch into Fire Blast is Gorbis, which Gorbis cannot threaten out this Flareon because it does not actually have Surf.
Right.
So this is a free. You click Shadow Ball. If you think Mence is coming, you click HP Ice. Because spoiler, this thing does have HP Ice.
Yeah, this is a very well-built Flareon. And every game I thought to myself, okay, there is no real switch into it. I have to make the right play, because if he makes the right play, I lose him on. Compared to, I make the right play and take 30 damage instead of losing them on. Game 2 here, I'm a little surprised he's just psychicking my Gorbis like that. Like, I feel like the Celebi wants to stay a little healthy. I know it only has Psychic and Leech Seed as attacking moves, but it is a really nice wall. And gets a Flareon switch here on Jirachi, which is perfect, by the way.
Yeah.
Because now he can just hit any move and kill something. So I have to sack the Gorbis, who's kind of useless right now.
Yeah.
I think the game plan of getting around Dugtrio is so important.
Yeah.
But
and now
it just doesn't work out with the way Corey brought.
Yeah. So Corey stays in.
That was
we saw last time, Earthquake just kills.
Yeah.
And I know, Brian, you do not want to let Misdreavus in, especially in this position where, like, if you get, Perish, delete, that's it. We're done here.
Yeah, something's losing, and I've already lost one of the Mons. Like, it was really scary. I needed to chip it. But at the same time, you're probably right. I could have hit Earthquake here.
Yeah.
Missy comes in and doesn't threaten the team immediately, whereas missing a Rock Slide lets my Salamence die. And I guess it's a risk reward, and I picked the wrong reward, because now look, like, Mence is down to 18.
Which is actually, like, that Intimidate saved your life, because Flare
does he did have quick attack, yeah.
And it did not kill at 12%.
No shot, no.
Yeah.
And it was very especially offensive due to how much those Fire Blasts were doing, so.
Yeah. I also don't know why the Surf here. I think this is when the frustration starts to kind of cloud, because we can see, like, the plays that Corey was making in Game 1 are gone, yet he has all the information.
He's currently at the moment doing a really good job of locking down the team. And even though I get the Surf would kill the Salamence, Ice Beam has the chance to freeze. It hits Ludicolo better. My Water type is gone. I don't have a switch in. Nothing takes the Ice Beam. So I do think the Ice Beam there made sense. Or he could just actually be pretty brave and just set up a sub Baton Pass right away. I think he had sub on it, right?
It's Toxic.
Oh, it's Toxic. Yeah, he could have just
Toxic
the Baton Pass.
Is it had enough special attack investment to break max HP Ludicolo substitute, which Corey knew. So this is a free sub. If you think he's going to sub, then you Ice Beam. Right? Because then it's like, all right, we're back at neutral. And it makes
I don't actually hate it here either. Because I don't think he remembered or realized that the leftovers for him were first and he was faster.
Yes.
Oh, wait, no, he wasn't. Sorry.
No, that was the Flareon is faster.
That was the Flareon. It was the Flareon.
We will see that.
I'll see that later. I do remember how easily I got trapped in by this Misdreavus, and I get keeping the Vaporeon at high HP compared to Misdreavus, because Vaporeon is very nice to have at high HP for Mence. Misdreavus is not. So I do get that. And then we see a Perish Song actually stacks, which is pretty cool. I forgot about that effect, because I doubled into Zam there to get the free sub Calm Mind, which I thought would be really free, because he's in a Perish trap and he has to leave. But then, like, look at this. I get 70 on the Flareon, and now I'm forced to either kill myself or switch.
Yep.
And, like, that's all comes from, really good positioning, and that Fire Blast does so much damage.
Yeah. And so we see right here on the side, we see that Flareon restores its HP first, which means it's faster. And Shadow Ball will kill. We've seen how much Fire Blast does. Yet Corey does not realize this goes for quick attack and loses Flareon. And
which is one of the biggest threats of the team,
Because we see that Ludicolo doesn't go away. And then
Ludicolo stays.
More of it going on here is you're trying to get your HP back. So at this point, I can see the tilt. Like, I can see, I've played, Mons with Corey long enough. I see the tilt happening right now.
Yeah. He makes a good read here, though. He reads I'm going to Calm Mind because he hits Psychic that turn instead of getting hit by an Ice Punch at ×1. So it was a good 50-50 read there. Because now I literally have to switch out instead of keeping my Zam in to do nothing, because I wanted it alive rather than sacking it. So I completely wasted the sub Pataya turns and he got 30% of his HP back, so it was still a good play on that
I think
part.
the one thing that, like, obviously, like, here, it's, like, between where you are, you're between a rock and a hard place. You know, you've got to switch, right? I feel like your switching there was, I don't want to say obvious, but, like, I felt like, if anything, you would Ice Punch. And if you're Corey, right?
That is the next 50-50, right? Like either Ice Punch or Switch. And if he calls the wrong move, he eats 70 to 80 something on his Celebi, or he just protects for a turn. I like the protect. I know it seems like a good switch, but he still has the Dugtrio in the back, and this is Jirachi. It's not like it's anything scary to Dugtrio, right?
Like, the thing is, like, if you're here, right, and you also have Vape who can take that Ice Punch, and then you're at a point where it's like, okay, right? Like, this Alakazam is either going to switch or die. And you can kind of, play around that a little bit, But if you go for Protect, now all of a sudden Celebi's on its last turn. It has to switch. You have a free move.
Yeah. I did go for Ice Punch there instead of Psychic. I really was just attempting to get a freeze on Vaporeon at that turn. I felt very behind and didn't think it would be worth the damage trade-off if I could get Vaporeon to not play the game for a bit instead. Because it is a 20% chance to freeze with the silly Jirachi ability.
Yeah. And then we see the Baton Pass, and which is it's whatever. Right? But like Ludicolo is free, you have the Ice Beam. I just think you forgot the Ice Beam calcs. Like, you have Surf, you click Surf, right? It's like, I don't know.
Oh, no, he was in on the Jirachi, right? But he got the Baton Pass and should have gone to Dugtrio once he realized I put the switch out, so he got the switch with him. I'm surprised that turn.
That was my thought process. That was what I
If that was Dugtrio, Ludicolo's dead, and now, oh no, Mence comes in, I'm pretty sure the Vaporeon's at very high HP still, so you can just Ice Beam him and force him out.
Know when to use your Doug. That was a perfect Doug turn. You had Ludicolo, low HP, delete it. Next, move on.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, the Dugtrio had Sludge Bomb. You Sludge Bomb because you don't let Mence in. Then you let in Jirachi or Steelix, which are really not that big of a deal. Because then
especially
you
not
have
98
your Celebi,
right? Celebi,
you get a Leech Seed off. There are no switch-ins to that. And, you play around, blah, 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 blah. You get Doug. You Doug the Jirachi. It's really not going to set up and beat you. I think that singular play derailed the entire game. If he had Dugged, then this game was done.
Right. And now I actually go into Steelix here for that reason, because I didn't want to get Dugged, even though it doesn't seem odd. It seems odd to put in Dug to get Ice Beamed or whatever, but I just needed to keep that Ludicolo alive. I wanted the leftovers HP to take a Psychic, so I had to switch in on Leech Seed only turns. And everything else didn't matter. I had to make the right play there.
And again, even there, it's like,
here.
Why are we, I get the Parasong, it's fine. We get the mean look.
Yeah. And now we have a funny little thing here, because Mischievous is a little too passive sometimes, because with the Toxic, thanks to Steelix, it just gives me a chance to do this for free.
Yep.
And then, interestingly enough, he sends in Dugtrio here, which I liked, because it forced me to die and do a 50-50 of Ice Punch Psychic, which is really good, I think.
Yeah. That was definitely part of the building process for sure.
Yeah. So I was a big fan of that, I do have to say. And that's I think with the double Baton Pass strategy Corey has on both Vaporeon and Celebi with Dugtrio and Mischievous Perish Trapping, this could be a staple team to come. Just how nicely it synergizes. And we see that Ice Beam do only 55 to Celebi, so now it's getting all its souls back. Leech Seed Protect, really, really good. It's almost like my Ludicolo didn't do anything now because it's back up to 90, so we love Celebi. It should be picked up.
And then you get the Boom.
Yeah, and then I just clicked boom there. Because I clicked boom, and then I hit cancel. So I'm like, wait a minute, how much HP is almost started again? And it went off anyways.
And again, so we do not see the Doug.
Yeah, we don't see the Doug here. Yeah, where is he?
I think it's one thing where I've noticed this a lot in Corey's games.
Not just this set, yeah.
You're afraid to use Dugtrio. You have this powerful tool, just do it. Vaporeon is at a high enough HP. If you dug this guy, right? You lock in a Sludge Bomb, so Mence cannot set up. Yeah. You have Rock Slide.
You can lock in a Rock Slide too, same thing.
Yeah, but I like Sludge Bomb because you can't miss.
Sure.
And then, like, you let Jirachi in, sure. And then you go into Celebi, you do just enough with Leech, and then you kill it with Earthquake. And then Vape can take the hit from Mens and kill it. And that's the game. It's pretty straightforward from there. Like, you're just playing on, like, crits and variants and stuff.
Yeah.
So, it's, but we don't see it, you know, and we see Ludicolo's back up, and then we get the
back to sub range, yeah.
Back to sub range, Jirachi comes in, takes nothing from Psychic. Now we gotta play the Leech Seed game.
Any Perish songs, which I thought was curious.
I definitely do not think that was the play. I think Leech Seed, 100%. We see it now.
I've been pivoting around the Leech Seed with Ludicolo a bunch, so I think he just wanted to make a mixed read there, because he can't touch the Jirachi at all.
Yeah. But now he's forced to take potential chip on Vaporeon, and now Ludicolo can sub. And Corey's still baton passing.
Oh, he baton passed. Oh, man.
It's like, it's just like playing scared. It's like, you get a certain point where if you try to, like, I'm going to just bake the mid ground play, you know, I'm going to do this, you know, I'm going to be passive, I'm going to do this. Eventually, your opponent is going to make, like, they're just going to kind of keep going. They have momentum. You're just doing passive. You're not doing anything to challenge it. And you're on such a back foot right now. It's like, every time he's BP'd, instead of, like, clicking Ice Beam or anything, it's just been a nothing turn.
Yeah.
And then the freeze, that kind of
sealed the fate. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think,
I think you're right.
He was getting bailed out from some of his, you know, passive plays. But this one just kind of was like, all right, you're playing too passive. Here's your freeze. Like,
yeah, like it had to happen at some point. And then I go for HP Grass here because it would have killed the Celebi, seeing he was at, like, what, 10? Ludicolo's got enough.
And now,
then
at this point,
he finally does it, but it's like a little too late kind of deal.
Yeah.
And I get why he wants to keep his Tim 2 alive, because it is the only Salamence answer left. But
exactly.
It shouldn't have ever been the one in then. It shouldn't have been on the field then. He could have just pivoted between the Celebi and the Doug trio. Yes, and he locks himself into the mix here, and it's over. He's got to hit a move with Doug that's locked into a band. He chooses to go out on his own will with Earthquake instead of anything else.
Yeah. So.
And then we do find out. You do find out it's banded, or at least he's bluffing it. Because there was a mouth to run it.
So that game definitely just, moral of the story, just as we kind of let this one play, stop playing afraid with your Doug.
Yeah, really let him be the star of the show.
Yep. Like, we see it with Hall all the time. If he has an opportunity to Doug you, he will.
Yeah, it's one of the big 8 for a reason. Like, it's not a bad mon.
It is probably a top 3 mon in our draft format right now. Use it. Because you have this power. If you're afraid to use it, you don't deserve it. Go trade with somebody else.
I was a big fan of Corey getting up this spike here, by the way, on turn 3, and I was shaking in my boots. And then I do like that he wants to get rid of the Gorbis. However, I really did not understand keeping it in on turn 5. Like, when you still have a Celebi or even a Flareon that you know my full moveset, at that point, like, that did seem a little odd. I mean, he did get the spike up, which is cool, but imagine how much more it could have done.
Imagine if you had your other Mens check.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, like,
that's all we can say about it.
Flareon was the perfect switch in, right? And now we're going into Celebi to eat 62% when you can go into Flareon and take 20.
That's funny.
What's the worst thing that happens? You BP speed to Ludicolo and you do 57% with Fire Blast?
Yeah.
Dang. You know, like, it's fine.
Yeah, 57 plus spikes.
Yeah.
Plus a chance to burn, plus a chance to crit, like all this nice stuff coming in. I'm actually just HP flying here, not because it hit Celebi, but because I wanted the maximum damage on Vaporeon that turn.
You needed to just do some damage.
Need to chip out, yeah, and then here comes the sack, because Gorbis is not a special wall, it's actually a physical wall.
Yeah. Now we see Ludicolo
doing its Ludicolo thing.
And once again, we see Corey's refusal to click Ice Beam on Ludicolo, which in this situation I understand because you let Omastar die. You now have to play more protective with Vaporeon, which lets Ludicolo continue to dick your entire team down.
Yeah, no, Ludicolo gets to be the menace that he honestly really nice draft pick.
Yeah. Look, like Ludicolo is one of those mons where if you play passive, Ludicolo will destroy you. If you play aggressive, you can keep it under control.
And we'll see that in like 2 weeks when you and I play for sure.
Yeah. I'm not letting him do anything.
Yeah, you won't let him hit the field.
I refuse.
And then Bigger Mens comes in.
Now Vape is taking all this chip, and that toxic
miss is a critical toxic, and I think that was the ending point there. I think Corey threw in the towel from missing that toxic. Yeah, just like that.
Yeah.
But he does do the Ice Beam here. I honestly still thought that it was a roll at this point. I should have known that it wasn't, but.
Yeah, so and then I like the going into Celebi there. I think that was fine.
The biggest issue with Celebi now is it's a little too weak to take an Ice Beam, because we know it does about 55. And he has Protect. And I know he's playing around the sub and all that, but I feel like keeping the Celebi alive would have been pretty nice here.
Yeah.
Even though it does let my Ludicolo get revenge.
You have Flareon, who's faster. You could take a Surf.
You can take an Ice Beam.
Take anything.
You can take a Surf with your 110 special.
And then again, we're letting Flareon die. I think at this point Corey just gave up.
Yeah.
It's like, why are we going into Doug?
He misclicked that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which I then went into Steelix expecting that I went into Steelix just to check if I knew I could take a Rock Slide, but I didn't want to play a 30% flinch game, so I just went into Steelix. And then he died to a Surf anyways, at full, which was really funny. But he attempts to make a play here with Destiny Bond, because in this game you could spam Destiny Bond 8 times, but the minute you don't do it is when it's over, because you're faster in this case. So then I just sit here and spam Psychic for the rest of the game.
I think you just let Missy die. Right? You click the Protect, you stall the turn.
Yep.
And then at that point, I think he realized it, and he's just like, whatever, I don't want to fucking do this.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I think game 2 was... Game 1 was very well played, and Game 2 was dissected right. I think just the passiveness of the Doug trio just needs to be a little more aggressive with it, and I'll be much and mute me in the future or whatever. And that set would have been a 2-0 and a handshake the other direction for sure. I do apologize for my actions for sure, and I won't let it happen again. So sorry, Corey. I didn't mean to do that to you.
So
I hope we have a better set if we play in the future.
Yes. We will move on from that one.
Correct.
About halfway done here.
We have a really funny lead matchup here because Regice lead is not something you see every day.
And Regice is dead.
And he's dead, yeah. An interesting decision to keep him in on abandoned Metagross, most likely.
Yeah.
So. And looking at the oh my gosh, he's Bone Ring. That's pretty funny.
That's funny.
Looking at Aaron's team right now, it does not appreciate the top 3 that he has against the top 3 that Drew has. It's pretty rough, so he just booms one of them.
Yeah,
I respect it.
There's a reason I'm just kind of letting this one play right now.
Yeah. Fig out doing 25. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. This set is an example of not respecting your opponent's team and just being like, I want to bring these Pokemon because I like them. They're funny.
Oh, he doesn't have a lot of answers to Marowak is my best thought either. And then High Jump Kick Medicham. That's pretty bold.
High Jump Kick is bad.
It's bad. Explode. When you have a team that's really weak to I look at this whole team here, right? It's pretty weak to Meteor Mash, Earthquake, Metagross in general, and anything that runs strong ground moves. If you see in the team builder that your opponent has both of these things, you got to mix it up a little bit. Maybe bring Wailord or something, right? Try to just check ahead of time, because in this case, and we're going to see it in the future too, sometimes you just don't. You can't just bring the same dudes. You can't bring the same typing dudes over and over. So it's a real uphill battle for Aaron to get out of this one, and he switches into Shiftry, which I think resists the hit. Nope. Okay, cool. All right. Yep. Nope. He's dead.
You
all right.
have Fortress. Switch into Fortress. It is a Steel type.
You're right. Well, I don't know why Fortress doesn't do that.
What are we doing? And we're booming on Typhlosion. Why?
Hey, how come? Oh, I thought the boom went first. I thought Typhlosion hit Roar or something. I'm like, what is happening here?
Again, you don't want to throw away your only checked Metagross because let's be honest, there isn't another one.
Yeah. Unfortunate Rock Slide, but it's a good thing this match is going fast because the server is restarting soon.
Restart, so they're on a speed.
Yeah, they're running at speed. Funny toxic Typhlosion. I don't think I see that too often. I think that's pretty neat, actually.
Yeah. We
have Marowak here and we have Raikou. I do not believe Raikou.
What is going on? Why are we roaring?
Oh wow, he roared.
Why are we roaring, Marowak? Where is your HP Ice?
I don't think HP Ice kills. I was about to say.
I mean.
Oh great, we'll never know.
That's Raikou because he did in game 1 too. It was +1 Raikou. That'll kill.
I just know Marowak has pretty decent. Oh my gosh, this is big Raikou.
It's big crit hours.
Look what happens when Aaron brings Raikou. He actually does damage.
Yeah, turns out.
Good mons do damage. Now let's see if Jirachi's faster. This is technically a speed tie at this point, so he does get the 50-50 speed tie, and all of a sudden the game looks a little interesting. Could be Ice Punch Jirachi, but he also has the Red Ice in the back to probably take a hit.
To discuss here. Some reason it's Fire Blast.
It's Fire Blast for Fortress.
Your Brick Break.
Yeah, it's for Fortress.
That's fair.
Yeah. I mean, I totally get it. I just, like, you look at that 200 special defense and you just hit HP flying anyways, if you're willing to sack it. And Slowking turns out to be a really good counter to both the remaining mons, so it's good that it's here. Red Dice running Thunder, that's a bold and innovative strategy for a team not running Skarmory. Even though the damage is pretty nice, because, you have 100 special attack, the mischance in the low PP certainly hurts, because even if you do hit all these Thunders, you're not killing it, right? And you only got, like, what, 3 of them left?
Thunder has 16 PP.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Look at that. Let's go, Thunder. It's not like Fire Blast, then.
You see, it's like, I don't know, just run Thunderbolt. Would have done just as much damage.
Yep.
And
yeah, it's really... And actually, Jirachi putting up a fight here, but not able to take 2 of these.
Do you think it was Calm Mind, Jirachi?
The Jirachi? Absolutely.
Why wasn't he Calm Minding?
Who knows? Sometimes it's a mystery.
Also, I think Regice needs to go to see an eye doctor. Because,
yeah, I think he's missed, what, 4 of them now? Yeah. That's a 28 behind 2 Calm Minds. I gotta respect that Thunder, actually.
And he goes down.
Yeah. Oh, you were done with this game early.
Yeah,
I will say Aaron did better game 2.
Yes.
I know his team was in a tough spot, and he got a little lucky with the roar on the Marowak, but kept it down the last mon. So a little bit of a fight from him. I'm hoping to see more fighting from him. I like it when his games do well. So keep me interested, Aaron.
Yes.
But we'll move on. Good job, Drew. Solid number 3 win for you again. Keep it up, bro.
All right, we got Crispy Will and Tim.
Will and Tim are two players that very, very interesting styles of play here. One being Tim does not enjoy Zapdos when he has his team here and has to go back-to-back on Zapdos weeks. And Will, the kind of guy that forgets he set lead Aerodactyl and then it actually works out for him.
And gets rewarded for it,
Yeah. That being said, I don't hate lead arrow anyways. You deal a lot of damage. You're fast. You don't let spikes get up. It's good. It's a good pick, even if you weren't, even if you didn't mean to do it.
Let me see. So
we see Rock Slide swap it, which is a little odd.
It has
surf. Go for it.
Swampert has surf.
Yeah, right. He should.
It does. Click surf. It's always going to do more to Aerodactyl. Always. It's like, I don't know if
you have surf and ice beam, why do you... What's the Rock Slide for?
What are we thinking it's going to switch in? Like, even if it is Slowbro, yeah. Slowbro is usually physically defensive.
Yeah.
Surf also doesn't miss. And after Tim's last set,
Hey man, that's all in the past.
Anyway, but here's the homie MVP. We love Vileplume. Vileplume is the greatest.
I'm a little surprised that he let his Slowbro go to sleep, of all things. I feel like that's a nice mon to have around, healthy.
Yeah, I agree.
And we see Willow Dusclops get himself burned, which is really funny. Probably didn't expect them around switching.
No. I mean, you probably should, because it is a dark type coming in on a ghost.
Just not commonly seen, I guess.
6%.
Wow, 6. Now, I know Tim's game plan with this Umbreon was to set up Curse and Baton pass it out. But if you're not setting up the Curse, there's almost no reason to hit Shadow Ball. Like, even though you're hitting Dusclops for, like, what, 20 damage or whatever, you're an Umbreon, you don't have that offensive pressure. So you don't, I would recommend, you can even just Curse and then Baton pass that to Swampert or something even. if you don't like passing it to Registeel that turn.
So, real quick, just look at Vile Plume just kind of
Against this team, yeah.
everything right now.
As long as Aerodactyl doesn't come in, he gets to stick around.
Just kind of do it. And Will can't really, he doesn't really want to switch Aerodactyl in because those HP grasses hurt a little bit.
Yeah, I was waiting for the Leech Seed for a little bit now. I know he's hitting Hidden Power, but you get a lot of. You haven't seen Will prove he has a grass type yet, so Leech Seed goes really hard.
Yeah. So, really good double from both players. Like, I really like that. Okay, I'm gonna go and assert some spikes.
Yep.
And Will is like, I'm gonna go into Aerodactyl because I'm sick of this passive shit. Let me kill.
Yeah, I want to do some
Vile
damage.
Plume. And they both doubled, and we just go back to turn 1.
Yeah, a little unfortunate for Tim because that is a losing double for him, but it was a cool play. And then Double Edge doing 50, which is bold because that would not have killed the Glalie.
Yeah. And we see Registeel coming in. There's Slowbro, and we see HP Ghost for 38%.
Rate doing 38.
Yeah.
My God. Get this man an attack stat.
We got Glalie coming in.
Yeah.
And Glalie can get up some spikies.
Very, very surprised he doubled. I think he expected him to boom that turn.
Yeah, for sure. And
then we didn't see the secret sauce that was in the back the whole time. The crunch Glalie. Love to see that.
Umbreon taking way too much damage.
Wow. So yeah, get Umbreon out of there. Actually, I don't know why we're going into Swampert with low HP when we could go into Registeel.
I was thinking it's like, this Umbreon has Wish. This is a really good turn to throw up a Wish. Let Umbreon go down.
Mm-hmm.
And then bring in Swampert on the Rock Slide because you can take it. Will's probably going to have to switch. And then you get all your HP back and you are an arrow check again.
Yeah, because Swampert, like, obviously his biggest weakness is not being able to... Where's the Surf?
Where's the Surf? You're in Torrent. You know, like...
Yeah. But his biggest weakness is not being able to recover his health, obviously.
Yeah.
I know the Rock Slide's on this moveset for Articuno, I'm guessing.
And this is another chance of, like, let's see, let's go, like, turn 22, right? Swampert comes in, takes 23. Boom, click Protect. Don't go for the Rock Slide, don't go for... Click Protect, get your HP back. And then, because if your opponent switches, or Surf, exactly. If your opponent switches, then your Protect doesn't go off, and you can do it again.
I think that turn 23 makes sense to do Surf on that.
Would come in, but still. But, yeah.
I know you like Protect that turn, though.
Yeah.
But I'm a much bigger fan of Surf because you're in Torrent at that point, even if he switches.
Yeah.
But either way, it would have been a good play. Rock Slide doesn't kill, and like it's really only here for Articuno, so you shouldn't be clicking it unless Articuno's on the field. Mm-hmm. Is my guess. Like, I don't think you have any other reason to hit it.
That was a great double from Will. Really wanting to apply pressure to Vileplume. Which I think was coming in.
Yeah, Will's making good Aerodactyl switches with his...
Like, lives!
Wow.
Best
wow.
Biggest bird. On ever.
All right, Bannon, you heard
on the seed.
Heard it here, Bannon. Don't give him Vileplume.
Please. And then here comes Glalie, right, picking up the seeds, and we're going to see a KO on top.
I think so, right? Yeah, goodbye. On
Ice
top.
Beam, and there's Slowbro, and this is a situation where Boom is so appetizing right now.
Yep.
But you also have Crunch.
And you have the minus attack stat that does calculate.
Minus attack, yeah. And you're also seeing, Glalie might be able to take that.
Necessary.
I might need Glalie, right? And you also still threaten Aerodactyl. Zapdos is unrevealed. You know he's there. And it's like, it's 52%
because of the minus attack. I don't think it was worth it, no.
Yeah, I don't think it was worth it either.
Especially just looking at the health of the rest of the team here. Knowing that Nidoking has Earthquake, thinking it could be banded, it could not be banded, but even if it's not, like, the damage number is crazy, and Swampert and Umbreon are too low to take the hit compared to Registeel. And Registeel can't do any damage, so you got to keep that Glalie alive, for sure.
I think just when this end game just came down to not understanding.
I'll pause here on turn 36, Matt.
What's up?
A quick pause on turn 36. The Swampert actually can take an Earthquake at about 37 HP or so from banded. So he got the Protect to stall out the lefty's turn, right? Mm-hmm. If he wants to keep this around to revenge kill this later, he could sack the Umbreon here and then get the lefties recovery on the switch and protect again for another lefties recovery and then be able to take out the Nidoking or force him to switch. So I think that's also quite good on. Like in this metagame where you get leftovers recovery after Amon dies, it's huge. You can get basically double recovery. But he doesn't get that and instead loses to, unfortunately, really cool Nidoking. We could have maybe seen a slightly cooler endgame situation where it might have been really close with Zapdos and whatnot. But we'll go
into game 2, and we're gonna see how things change. Going Vileplume immediately.
Pretty bold.
It was very bold, but
I didn't call it bad. I'm just gonna call it bold because you get your sleep early, which is cool. But like, you make the wrong read there and you explode.
Yeah.
And this is one of your best mons, so like.
This is your best mon.
Yeah, in the matchup we've seen so far, it is your best mon.
Yeah. And we see Reggie. Reggie comes in, right, to
good job, Reggie.
Full HP. It's like nothing happened. And then we see the great double from Tim, knowing that Arrow's getting out of there, and you get up spikes.
Yep, big fan of the double. Get your spikes up, King. And Will has, even though he has Hitmon top, he hasn't shown that he has spin yet. He's shown that he has bulk up, and that generally implies he's not a spin set. And as we see Calm Mind Slowbro here, we do have a pretty decent answer to it with Umbreon, thanks to it running Psychic and Shadow Ball. Yeah, but then
so
we
right
get into a weird
here,
situation here.
Yeah, so right
talk
here, talk about this Umbreon. It is Curse, Shadow Ball, Wish, and BP. So you're seeing that the Surf is doing about 34%. This is a Wish turn, right? So you Wish, and then you can Curse the next turn, and then you get your HP back, and you're kind of in that cycle where the Slowbro can't really break you right now, and you're boosting, and eventually you can kind of work around it, right? You can get your Curse
it's kind of like an arms race in a sense. But you need to be able to Wish because you are getting hit.
Imagine
you
if,
are not hitting it.
Right, like you would set off a Wish, right?
Yeah.
And you would still be faster.
True.
Which is the crazy part, because at -2 speed, look, we see Slowbro is faster now. And now with that Wish, you can get off another Curse, and then get your HP back, and then BP. And you still have a little bit of an Umbreon left.
Not sure it ends up changing too much in this situation, but like now instead, you go into Registeel, who doesn't have a whole lot of damage to deal to this Slowbro.
I don't know. That did a lot.
It's a lot, but we're taking a 2-for-1 trade here in a sense.
Yeah.
So it is interesting. Whereas like Umbreon's very low HP, and because you're Curse and not like Swords Dance, you lose your Registeel a bit too. So now Zapdos has
another
a lot
fun
more
part, right? This Registeel has rest.
Oh, he could have rested, yeah.
And this is a really good rest turn because
Yep,
Zapdos goes for sub, but Tim blows up.
Oh, he had Rest Explosion?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, not having rest there, then all of a sudden, it's even if you saved Registeel and he was just asleep, whatever, you can come in as like a stopgap to things if you need to. Like you
I
burn the
think
2
about
turns.
how nice that Registeel is against Aerodactyl, against Dusclops, against a lot of things, honestly. The only thing it loses to is this Hitmontop, which is fine because you're at Curse. You have +2 Curse. Yeah, it doesn't. That's the thing. Like, you force the Zapdos out behind the sub, which is cool. And then we see Will do high jump kick miss because he forgot to set his moves and only take like 10%.
Yeah, rewarded for it.
Rewarded for his troubles, which is okay. But that's okay. I mean, even with Registeel down and Umbreon low, Tim still has his main core healthy, and as long as he keeps those guys good, he's got a good shot at this game.
We see Glalie come in. Do we see the spike? We do. So
Ooh, a second layer. I know you're not a big fan of that.
No, I'm not. So the thing with spikes, right? If you can only get 1 layer, that's fine. That's all. Honestly, that's all you really need sometimes. You either want 1 or 3. Because with 1 you get 12%, and with 3 you get 25%. That second spike just offsets lefties. That's it.
Yeah.
So unless you're guaranteed to get that 3rd layer, you really don't need it at all. And that's like kind of the thing that's annoying about it. It was like that was a great opportunity to throw off an Ice Beam. Slowbro's dead, unresisted. Like you catch whatever wants to come in. It's like that arrow switched into Ice Beam, oh, he's dead. you know.
But now that Tim did go for the spike, he has to either sack something that's very important, or sack his Umbreon or go into something like Swampert and take way too much damage. So I really do like the sack there on Umbreon. It is the right time to do it.
Yes, for sure.
And now I hope he hits Surf here. Let's go.
Surf, yes.
Look at that damage. Hit him on top, done.
On top,
sacked it.
Bad.
He's out of here.
He's gone. See you later.
And back into Arrow, which was a misclick by Will, and explodes for it. But weirdly enough, kind of nice because now the Swampert's at a little bit low at range, and
now it's in range.
Yeah, now it's in HP Grass Zapdos range.
Yeah. So Tim is in a really good spot still. Like, I know it doesn't look the best, but like he still has his Zapdos checks at 100%.
Oh, they're both at 100. Let's go.
Yeah. So from here, you go, okay, you got to get out of here, right? The Zapdos, right? It gets a sub. It's really not that big of a deal. You have Sludge Bomb for this situation. Here comes Nidoking. You know,
here comes Nidoking,
not going to break that
that's
sub.
The problem.
Yes. But you can take one. You can take two, right?
You can take two, yeah.
And now, look, it's like, okay, what do we got going on? We have Dusclops asleep. I could get off a Leech Seed. That's pretty good. Am I willing to let Vileplume kind of die? Basically. And with,
this is the turn you hit Leech Seed for sure, if you're willing to let it die.
You go for Leech, you go, you know what? I'm fine with this. And if you want to keep this thing around, you can, but letting it go was a great play. And now we see Swampert come in, really good, get all the HP back, and you
That's
can
a lot of
throw
HP back.
A big Surf.
I like Will sacking his Dusclops here, because now that Vileplume is gone, nothing can go to bed. So he can just sack this if he really wants, and go back into a much scarier check like Zapdos.
Right.
But right here is where it gets funny.
This is the turn. So right
now,
now,
for both of them.
Yeah. So Tim knows that Swampert is kind of all he has keeping him together versus Nidoking.
Yeah, check the Glalie. Can you just double check on that one?
Yep. Glalee's at 78%. It can eat a Zapdos T-Bolt.
Glalie can actually also eat the Nidoking hit too.
Yeah. So Glalie and even Lantern is like really good right in this situation.
Right.
So
I like Lantern at this very moment.
Yeah. So if you were to even go into Lantern right now, that's fine. If it's HP Grass, you eat the percent, whatever, and you can throw off an Ice Beam that's unresisted. You're gonna pick up a lot of damage. If Zapdos goes for sub on their switch, you BP's the sub to Nidoking and you throw off an Ice Beam. That's fine. You know, we don't really mind that too much. But what we see is Tim makes the passive play, and here we are at the passivity thing I talked about last time. And Will goes for sub, and that ends the game.
Because now the Swampert or something has to break the sub, which is so much harder to do. Even with like Lantern being able to take two of these, right? Like now Lantern, instead of killing Zapdos, dies to Zapdos, and that's a huge problem.
So now Lantern goes down for basically nothing. Now Glalie comes in, it's going to throw off that Ice Beam.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah. But also, this is a good boom. This should have been a boom. Like, if you look at the calc and you see, oh, it doesn't kill you, boom.
Yeah, but here's the problem, right? He subs on that.
That's true. That's true.
Because he is faster. What I would say is, if look at the damage left on that Zapdos, if the Swampert didn't protect that turn, because he's at 94, he doesn't need to protect.
Yeah.
And you just went straight to Lantern. Even if he subbed up and then you hit two Ice Beams and killed yourself, this Zapdos would be at like 6 or 8% lower HP, and this Ice Beam would have killed.
Yeah. And
so it's just one minor mistake, and it really goes to show, I think, the whole week for everybody, just how important it is to really keep the pressure on when you need to, because it's not just this game. Yeah. It's almost been every single one.
Yeah, because it's not about just immediately killing the thing in front of you. It's about thinking multiple turns ahead, you know, and positioning yourself in a way that you understand your opponent might not see. So when they kind of fall into your trap, then they look and go, oh, I can't really get out of this. And sometimes it's as simple as one play. Because Tim honestly played probably 36 of these turns like as good as he could have.
Yeah, he played
3 were, you
well.
know, whatever, and then one bad play lost the entire thing.
Also, I think it's a big shout out to Zapdos. I think how strong of a mon he is, you do need to respect him.
Yeah.
Especially when your team is even though you have like Lantern or whatever and Swampert, like just he hits so hard with HP Grass.
Yeah.
So good job from Will. Will also, shout outs to him for prioritizing keeping the Nidoking and Zapdos healthy and alive for the most part, and not really bringing them in until the end of the game.
Yep.
I think he played it fine, even with the missed clicks and with the not setting his team stuff up. He did a good job and really brought his best to it. So I'm proud. No stall cradle this time. We love to see it.
Yes. So this set is going to take about 3 minutes.
Yes. What do we want to fixate on, Matt? What do you want to talk about?
Let's look at the nicknames, right? I think Pirate Ponderer, that's funny. Unfortunate got the para.
Really sad. That would have been a cool turn one if he didn't. And then Captain Magma, I mean, we're going to see this one probably every week.
Yeah.
Hey, it's
Ariados. So JT uses the calc. I know last time I said, use the calc, it's your advantage. You can understand, like, oh, this is choice band. He saw, oh, that's banded Blaziken. Let me go into my quad resist and set up some funny, shenanigans.
Shenanigans for sure is the way to describe this.
So we see, oh, it's a special Tyranitar. Oh, let me get an agility, and
I'm gone.
Let's bring in. Let's get down to business. We can sub a little bit. But let's just get to the main act. Let's bring in Marowak.
Yep.
And
a cool HP grass there by Chris.
Yeah.
Gotta say. But I don't like him switching out.
I know he was afraid of, oh my god, I'm going to explode to Marowak. Because now you just let Marowak behind a sub, and spoiler for the folks at home, that just this little image right here, the game ends. It's over.
It's actually over. There is no answer. You must die. It has 1,036 attack. For reference, I think Mewtwo has like 359 normally special attack. So you can use that number as a nice baseline. Yeah, and Chris knows in this game that Marowak at 2-2 is the game ender. So sacking T-Tar to make sure you don't lose the whole game there in case he did hit Earthquake wins you the game, or doesn't let you lose the game. Sure, you lose your T-Tar, but you don't lose the game, It's all about prioritization. Because he did have Ice Beam, he did have Flamethrower, he did have HP Grass. He could have just killed it on the sub-turn. And a Marowak at +2 speed instead of +2 attack and speed is not as scary.
Yes. So
I
jumped right into game 2.
Yeah, go for it. I know what
So Chris adapts, says, oh, I had to save Cloyster, but JT's on that. He was trying to get Tyranitar, and
he lost himself in the Brick Break again.
Which JT is, again, he's on it. This is one where you understand your positioning. You go, that is a locked-in fighting move. I have a quad resist Pokemon that can give me the game ender. I'm not hesitating. I'm going in. I'm doing it. This is why JT's team, all his sets have taken like no time at all.
Yeah, every single set that JT has won has been within the first 10 turns, I think. Every single game, or something crazy.
And again, this is one on Chris, where, spikes are very nice in this matchup. They're very good. However, you just watched Marowak get +2 speed and destroy your entire team. You have to now respect the spider.
Yep. And I actually I don't hate letting Cloyster do the spike, but then he brings in, out of all the switch-ins that he could have brought in, he brought in the only one that was bad.
Yep.
Because now the sand is up, and if you wanted to do your Endure strat that lets you outspeed the Marowak, you will just die to the sand instead of actually, it could have been anything. It could have been the Blaziken, right? Literally anything could have come in here. A cool Ice Beam, though. He thinks he kills it, but he doesn't because,
once again, the game is over.
So it's a little bit about prioritization, because he does, oh, I'll do it. You sure did.
Yep.
And it would have worked, too. He actually would have been faster with the Select Berry.
Yeah, but again, there's sand up. So
yeah, so it's just a little bit of, I guess, negative synergy on the team, I'd say. Luckily for him, he shouldn't have to deal with a +2/+2 Marowak for the rest of the season unless Drew wants to pick up a Baton Passer.
Yeah. So
this is the hardest to do. Yeah, we might see Marowak do it again for sure.
Yeah.
But not to Chris, at least. So good job on JT. He understands the assignment. I wish we could have actually seen the game a little more. I think it would have been a fun set. Yeah. But good on it.
If you're in an opportunity where you can just win,
go for it.
Do it. Win the game. It's easy.
What do you got to lose?
Yeah. It's like you saw that with my set and JT's set. JT just got his positioning a lot quicker than I did. But once we got it, it was like, okay, boom. unleash.
Yeah, the power of a really good wall breaker and baton pass is just showing off here. I hope everyone respects, or at least maybe even runs a hazer after this week.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of them. So.
Yeah, please keep it in mind. Roar, haze, moves like that, very helpful. All right, so the final set.
Final set, game of the week. Hall and
for
Adam.
Sure, no doubt.
So we got Jolteon and we got Swallow.
So yeah, this is a cool lead set, right?
Yeah. So obviously, Swallow's gotta get the fuck out of there.
Always.
You gotta go. And here is Regirock, who's kind of Adam's de facto special wall at this point. And we're gonna see Blastoise come in. And I really like that sub just to kind of like ease prediction because you know Jolteon's gonna leave.
Yeah.
And
it's a bit of a shame that it doesn't have Toxic because Sub-Toxic could have been pretty cool here to help out beat the Blastoise, but it doesn't need it yet.
Yeah. So now with Blastoise here and Skarmory, right, we're gonna do the spikes shenanigans. Skarm doesn't really mind like just spiking and it's spinning on it because you get the lefties back and that's more important.
Right, Blastoise is wasting time if he's spinning on Skarmory.
Yeah, especially this early in the game. And you know,
you actually like Adam's positioning right now. I know Hall's doing a pretty good job too with his 3. Because he's getting around, getting his walls toxic. He's getting all his spikes up. He's forcing Hall to spin early instead of like, keeping the momentum on Skarmory's side, which is really hard to do in a matchup with a Jolteon.
Yes, it is incredibly hard.
And a Houndoom.
And now with the Roar, it's like, okay, like let's continue to build it up, right? So now it's like, oh, is Blastoise just gonna spin? Is he gonna do damage? And Adam gets up more spikes. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna get up some more. And now Hall's kind of in that spot where, oh, I can spin, but eventually, like if that Skarm drops a Toxic on him,
Yeah, it's a shame we didn't put Toxic on the set. But then here comes Jolteon into Skarmory, and it's really hard to like in any other matchup you're fine with this, I think. But in the Doug Trio matchup, you can't let your Jolteon even you can't even let it attempt to make the 50-50 read on the Thunder Wave because it doesn't have a Lumberry. So it's really unfortunate that he got that. But good job on Hall calling out the Thunder Wave switch. And here we see Swallow come in on Jinx.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Sleep Talk, Quick Attack, die.
Boom!
Funny.
Very funny. We love Swallow. He's a cool guy. And as much as that was a really cool play, it is going to lead to his downfall later because, having your bird be asleep is really cool and all. Also, lovely explosion. I love that.
Yeah, great boom. Knowing that I'm parried, I can't really check Jolt anymore. Let's,
Yeah, the Weezing's down. That's really nice. And here comes the second tech of the week. The Endure Berry Houndoom to actually be able to live against the Doug Trio and force him out, which is nice.
Now you get 33%, which would have killed Doug.
That's pretty cool.
And you chip Blastoise a lot, and you get the Spadef drop, which is huge.
And if this Jolteon at this point wasn't paralyzed, it goes crazy.
Yeah. Jolteon unparried would finish off this game. But it gets rid of Blastoise, which honestly is enough. And then I think it's interesting that Pat didn't go Doug.
Yeah, me too, actually.
But I also kind of get it because, like, do you really want the spikes up? Do you really want to deal with some Skarmory bullshit?
Probably not.
So, I get it. But you also have Pursuit. And also, in those situations, BP, I know you're paralyzed, but, like, I don't know.
It is more common for Houndoom, like normal Houndooms will run Pursuit, so you do have to play that 50-50, yeah. And then I don't know why he Earthquaked here instead of Surf. Maybe he was reading the Jolteon switching, so I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I think Hall is knowing his endgame well at this point. He knows that Jolteon sweeps the rest of the game.
He sees the 3 Pokemon weak to Thunderbolt.
Yeah. With 2 of them, one of them being asleep that can't deal with anything, and the other one being a Skarmory that only has HP ground that does about 40. Yeah. He doesn't know it even has HP ground
and
yet.
And great protect from Adam to get his HP back, to keep him alive.
Yeah, lovely.
This is what I want to see more of this, understanding when to get extra HP back.
Oh.
Do you think Surf would have done more?
No.
No, I didn't think so either.
Jolteon's physical defense is very bad.
Even Torrent boosted?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a special attacking Blastoise, so it was all defensive. So now, a quick pause here though. On that second protect for sacking the Blastoise, right? The Skarmory still has, I believe, full HP or close to, and you have HP ground, and we calced out that it does about 40, right? So protecting to get no extra leftovers on Blastoise and just let the Jolteon get up past the HP ground range is the mistake here. You let the Blastoise die, he gets to 41 instead of 53 because you sack 2 more turns. You hit HP ground, you attempt to do it. I know it crit here, so it didn't matter, but then you get the endgame Swallow versus Dugtrio, and maybe he wakes up, and maybe he gets to kill Dugtrio, and that's the actual endgame you want to look for there.
Yeah,
so a slight misplay. If your opponent has those lefties and you don't have big wall breakers, don't just let him recover for free. Don't, there's no reason to protect that turn.
Yep. All right, so game 2. All right, how do we see this one change? Nothing. We see a BP into Weezing. I like that play from Hall. Just kind of, continue to position. And honestly,
play from Adam.
Oh,
you lucky son of a gun.
You're so lucky.
Oh, Adam was so sad. He's like, I was so cool.
Yeah.
And he was. I love the play. And I love this play too. Paul likes to run a lot of status on his team. He has Toxic, he has Lovely Kiss, he has T-Wave, and he has Will all on the same team, right? And getting certain Mon status is much more helpful. Now, this whole time I've been saying that, Jolteon has come in and killed itself, which is a very unfortunate thing.
It's not that Jolteon killed itself, it got crit and took 82%.
Sure, but like, Jolteon shouldn't be in here. You have other Weezing answers. You don't need, like, when Jolteon's this important to your team, and this important in the matchup, don't you have other ways to deal with Weezing. It should come into the last resort.
Yeah.
And you see the enemy still has a full HP Jolteon. You can't let your only electric resist go down like that.
Yeah, also,
and then Adam forgets about Flash Fire, but it's really not that big of a deal because it kind of, cool HP Water from Hall here. Because it kind of just lets him get into Endure range here, which is good.
Yeah, you get the Salic boost, but since Pat was smart and went for Crunch, he did not put him at 1 HP.
So that reversal is not doing the maximum damage that would have killed, and instead has to take some of his Blastoise's HP to take him out instead.
Yeah.
So after seeing what happened last game, Hall no longer wants to hit Lovely Kiss.
Yeah, it is
just
not the way to do it.
Yeah, very cool Ice Beam on Blastoise. That did 30 something to Regirock, max special defense. That's impressive from Jinx.
And now Regirock is gonna get dugged.
He's gonna get dugged. The crit does not matter.
Crit did not matter. Swallow is in, and Swallow is going to click big damage button. 42%.
Not even gut boosted. Wow.
Is a lot. And
just a little bit. I'm not sure if the game script called for this, but like right now, Skarmory hasn't hit the field at all. It's turn 16, not a spike. He hasn't even been technically revealed yet.
Yeah. Going into Swallow here, I don't know what we're doing. Now
expecting a Toxic. He was expecting Toxic. He was making Toxic, and Hall knew that because Hall knows Swallow's the only thing left that even threatens his team.
Yeah.
So
I think it's more like that comes from Adam trying to make the aggressive play that didn't need to be made. When you can, like, this is an example of like when the mid ground is a good play, where if I get Swallow on the field, he Toxics, I win the game.
Yep.
But also your opponent understands that, so you kind of go, okay, I could make that play, but my opponent probably won't let me do it. I could go Skarmory, that's pretty free.
And you have Skarmory, and you get your Spike. And you know that in the back of your head, the only thing left on Hall's team that's threatening is the Jolteon, which you can kill with an Earthquake Quick Attack if your Blastoise is at high enough HP. So Skarmory is almost worthless here. Skarmory, I think, once you Toxic the enemy Blastoise, get that in, just start wasting some time. But I do like him stalling out turns with Protect. If Hall's not willing to switch into his Jolteon, this is really cool for Adam.
Now
get out, going to Skarm. Perfect.
There you go.
That crit was very huge, actually.
Yeah, it was a big crit.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Because now he's in torrent range, he just got crit. Skarmory is doing nothing but getting up a single spike and actually just kind of dying.
Yep.
But he sends him out, and I don't like that. I think you sack the Skarm there.
100% sack the Skarm. Because now, like, here comes Jolt.
Yeah, here comes Jolt.
And you
live. Mr. Stoice is that guy. He's got that dog in him. Thankfully, he had enough HP.
Yeah. And now you go, okay, let Blastoise die. Swallow, Quick Attack.
Yep, we love Quick Attack. And Dugtrio cannot take Quick Attack.
No, he cannot.
He explodes. Actually, Hall could have won that if he if he just sacked his Jolteon. I thought he couldn't.
That's true. Well, no, because then Adam would sack Skarm, and then Swallow would come in and click return.
Yeah,
that was done.
No, because we sacked the Skarm, right? And then hit return, he's slower than Jolteon, gets Thunderbolted.
No, I meant like if like you were saying if like Pat let Jolteon
Oh,
die
yeah,
instead of
you're right,
switching,
yeah.
then yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Adam
you're right.
kind of
That was
had
over.
this game zipped up.
But he has to. He does have to realize in game 2, and he did it well. Just how important Blastoise is. Weirdly enough, against that team, like it's very
you see
important
how
to keep that thing
important
alive.
Blastoise is. You also saw how important Regirock's ability to come in and check the special threat.
Yeah, just take the hits, even if it booms later. Like just take a few of those hits to take some pressure off.
And we see, wow, Swellow is how I'm going to win the game. I need to protect it.
Yeah.
Right.
So the
He
only
also
mons
has
that don't
gotten to
really
play
matter,
with
weirdly
Jolteon.
enough, are Skarmory.
Yeah. Yeah, and we need to utilize Skarm. So with all those in mind, we're gonna go into game 3. Right, and we see here's Regirock again. See the switch to Jolt to get Sludge Bomb.
I don't like letting your Jolteon get hit this early.
I know Adam is so worried about Thunderbolts. Have you looked at Jolteon's defensive stats? They're bad.
Yeah, like you can make the play to go into. First of all,
Go
you know
into
that
your Skarmory.
Like there's a couple things here on this turn actually. One, the Regirock subs is faster and can't get broken in a hit by Weezing. You know this. Like you know this because you calced your team out earlier. And also the second middle ground you have is get your Skarm option in. It's immune to Sludge Bomb. You don't care if it gets whisked, and it can get up spikes. So
And then
there's
make
a
his
lot of
Blastoise
different
come
options
in
that don't
and
involve
annoy
sending in your
him.
Jolteon.
Yep. So.
And then Jolteon gets, unfortunately, like it's not punished for the poison, but it is because he doesn't have a way to recover his HP. Like he's glad that he's not paralyzed, that's for sure.
And now look
Hall
where we
gets,
are.
now Hall gets all the momentum because now you have to leave. And a good HP ice, just keep him honest.
Keep you honest, yep. Well, BP back to Weezing. We're going to see a sub. No, we do not. So here's one we see Adam is tunnel visioning a bit.
Right. Well, we see the exact same situation we saw in turn 2, except now you have a Jolteon that's 37% poison. And here's what should have happened.
Yes.
Or at least what you wanted the situation that could have happened. Because now you're not doing a lot of damage, but Weezing can't recover his HP at all.
Yep. So you throw out some rocks.
Especially behind the sub. So just keep throwing out the rocks. What's he going to do? Nothing.
We're good, right? We're going to do it again.
That was a crit.
Crit, and then we're going to see Regirock. So what are we going to do? Oh, this is working. We're going to explode.
We're going to boom. And I'm like, it's really cool that you got Weezing off the field, but he is not the threat of this game. Really not that big of a threat.
You don't have your special wall to check Jolteon or Jinx.
Right. If he had if he just had like, I don't know, like especially defensive like Jirachi in the back, sure. But you don't have that option. You have your Poison Jolteon as your only other option. And it's unfortunate. Now he's pulling out Mr. Doom to take out the other Mr. Doom, which I think this is actually the Mon that's been playing best. And Hall gets the worst crit of his life.
I know. Now Reverse is going to kill.
Yeah. Because now Reversal actually does kill, thanks to the power boost from being at 1. And it does a lot more to Blastoise, too, but he opts to go for Crunch and gets rewarded for it. That special defense drop is nice.
If that's what he was going for, and it worked out. Because then you got Jolt. Jolt can now apply some pressure, which it has not been able to do a single time.
So
but Adam gets on that, and he BPs to Swellow, gets a kill. Awesome.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal BP. I love that. And Hall knows at this point, thanks to the poison, that he can hit HP Ice and kill either Swellow or Jolteon if they come in.
Yep.
And you don't want to risk the Blastoise or the Skarmory, so I love that from Hall.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, we're back to the literal same end game as game 2, right? Except the biggest difference is Adam got his Blastoise toxic. So what does he need to do? He needs to protect the HP of this Blastoise. You saw how important it was game 2.
Yep.
But Hall is chipping it down and now has the toxic and can kind of just stall it out by just slamming Surfs here. And Adam is letting it get way too low.
Yeah.
Because now with the toxic, he is no longer able to take a Jolteon Thunderbolt.
You cannot take a T-Bolt. And going for Protect. So now it's like, yeah, congrats. Blastoise is dead, but you took more damage. You took 25%.
You know what's funny? I think this endgame changed if it was actually a choice band Skarmory. Because he's right. He has to send in Skarmory here and hit HP ground.
Yeah.
But if it was, if this was Skarmory, came in on the Blastoise and just let it toxic stall, and you kept your other Blastoise at high HP, that Earthquake does 70-something. This hidden power does 40. Like, Skarmory's not the kingpin of offensive pressure, sadly.
Yep.
And look at that. That difference just matters there. And that would have been a much different game.
Imagine if you had been also applying spikes, too.
Yeah. But I will say, on paper, this was a really hard matchup for Adam.
Yeah.
Both the Doug Trio teams are gone, and I like the way he pivoted his Swellow play more and more as the game went on. I think it should get easier with Jolteon, and I think he should have a lot more promise and he'll have a lot more ability to play around with it, like how Hall has been doing this season now that he's done with the Doug Trio weeks. So
yeah. So just
hopefully
as last thing to Adam is utilize your defensive core. Your defensive core is not Jolteon.
No, absolutely not. Your defensive core is Regirock, Blastoise, and
Skarmory, Blastoise. Those three
if
can
you want to mix it up for a week, if you want to mix it up for a week, you've got Parasect.
Yeah, like they can handle it. You need to, like, yeah, use Regirock, but especially defensive to deal with those Thunderbolts. You don't really have a choice in that matter. You need to use the spikes. You need to make your defensive walls actually have some presence when they make people switch. And in the same way that Hall was letting guys to clean them up.
Yeah, it's almost like the way Hall was letting Jolteon. I don't think Hall's Jolteon ever took a hit. That wasn't when it was the last mon out.
Yep.
It's like it was kind of can just be used like that in a sense. But I like the set, and I was really proud of Hall's play. I think he's got an exciting team here, and I liked.
And I think it's also very cool because Pat used Doug Trio very well in Game 1.
Yes.
And the way that Adam played, Doug Trio never needed to do anything.
Doug Trio really didn't have the opportunity to do anything.
Yeah. So,
which is kind of funny.
So Hall got stuck playing 5v6 basically because of how Adam applied pressure when he needed to, which I think is definitely something to, definitely be proud of. Because like when when your opponent has the delete button, you need to play a certain way. And Adam is known for his I'm going to hit you with big moves gameplay. And it's been really cool to see him kind of learn to focus more on the defensive side, and then you still see that like desire to explode on Weezing instead of playing the long game, make your opponent switch and stuff.
Yeah,
because like you would have won that 1v1.
I think a pretty funny enough, I think a common theme of this week is whether or not people correctly exploded their mons.
Yeah, it usually
a lot
is.
of the answers were no, you did not correctly explode your mon, me included.
Yeah, Boom is powerful, that's for sure. All right,
but
and now
the risk.
The rankings.
The rankings, yeah.
This looks weird.
I agree.
Also because Corey's still ahead of Brian, and Brian beat him. And Hall won and dropped 4 spots.
Atomic's still 8 and hasn't like lost a game, like something crazy. Lost 1 game. Like there's a lot of good players and a lot of people sitting at 3-0 still.
Yeah, so at least like I think the only one we know for sure is with Corey's loss up to number 1 spot.
Yes, and I don't think anyone in the league will dispute that.
Yeah.
It was a very easy dissection, not easy, but a very well thought out and planned dissection of Jordan's team, and nobody's even looking to take your team even like close to the wire. I think Paul did a pretty good job week 1 and would have done it, but it was so before we knew a lot of things about the team, still figuring out teams. And I think even then, like you've planned out your team a lot better since then. So it's been undisputed number 1 for sure going to you. I don't think anyone would disagree with that.
Yeah, I have Bannon in it too. I think
love Bannon's play these last few weeks.
I think he's been cooking, especially like I just want to give special shout outs because like you're new and it's like you're winning well. Like yeah, you got lucky versus Tim. Like we kind of that was pretty bad, but like the gameplay never suffered because of it. Like he still was like, oh, I got lucky. I'm still gonna put myself in a good position.
Yeah, and the team comp is really well planned out too. Like I think people underrate still like that we are putting him at 2, but people who may not think he's at 2, like a certain other Zapdos team, Zapdos Snorlax as a combination is really tough to break.
It's really hard to deal with.
A lot of teams, I think Ben will have a tougher time and will really have to put in like some thoughts on his team building once he gets to the more passive playing weeks, like against the Skarmories and the Doug Trios.
Once
but until then,
the Tyranitar team is.
Oh, the Tyranitar, yeah, that's the big. Yeah, you're right. Like the stuff that chips away at Snorlax more that he hasn't had to face yet. I think that'll be a good testing ground. But for the teams he's played, the Gengar teams and the Swampert teams, whatever, like he's just been kind of washing.
Yeah, for sure.
Big fan of how he's been doing it. So I hope to see him continue.
And yeah, JT's been
and a big jump too. He went from 7 to 2.
JT's been kicking ass. This is pretty like he's just killing everybody. Like
Yeah, the
offensively,
matches he
this
wins are-
team is unmatched.
It's so like he was number 1 on our ranking on the first PR week, and he only fell to 5. But because it was so much variance, you look at how easily he stomped Chris this week, and I know Chris is still new and his team is like not the best designed, but it shouldn't be that easy. This is JT coming in with his game plan, and he is going to rock
He's very
you.
good at he's taking advantage of his game playing. He's seeing his opportunities. He's cooking.
Yeah, so I have no qualms with him up at 3. I think his team is great. I can't wait to see him sauce it up next week as well.
All right, I'll talk about 4, 5, and 6 all together.
Yes,
You're all interchangeable. I'm gonna be honest.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I wouldn't doubt it. I truly think Corey got gamed in the head by Brian Salt.
Yeah, he outplayed. He could have won that set and been number 2 or whatever, no problem.
He would have stayed at
I
1.
think it will continue.
Yeah,
and like Will as well. Like Will's team has no right being 5 with his Zapdos. I think the only reason we've dropped him to 5 and him not being in the top 3 is mainly just he hasn't really had to prove himself yet this season.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of like.
He's had a lot of good
gonna call him
matchups.
easy wins. But he certainly has been, Zapdos has been carrying him through as it should. It's very good. He even knows that Zapdos is carrying him through. And I want to see how he can, if he goes up against like a T-Tar team, I want to see how he pulls it off.
Well, he did go against a T-Tar team.
Oh my gosh, did he?
Yeah, week 1 he played THG.
Oh wow.
But like, and that first game was carried by Credilli. And that third game, Chris got very unlucky in the end game.
Yeah. But even so, like he's proven wins. He's 6-1. He's only lost a game. He's doing great.
Yeah.
But I still think, if I have to compete the two Zapdos teams and how they've played this season, I would say Ben's is higher. But Will is absolutely in no way, shape, or form playing bad. He is doing phenomenal. He is 3-0. His team is strong. I can't wait to see him keep going. And I get why he's up here.
Yeah.
And then as for me,
look, you're up here not for your team strength, but because you are a good player, and you are 3-0. But like, we don't need to harp on it anymore. But
shout out to the team being the only team to go to game 3 every game so far. I didn't realize JT has been tracking that. So
yeah. I don't like that we had to drop Hall, but like,
he won a game and dropped 4 spaces. It's actually hysterical.
But it's not only that he lost a game and dropped 4 spaces. His first opponent, or his week 2 opponent, is no longer playing. Joel is gone. So technically he's only played 2 games. Yeah, there's the 2 wins. We're giving everybody a win for that bye week, just for PR consistency standings. So that's really the reason, because technically he's 1-1.
As much as he's like quote 1-1 too, I think
Corey is also technically 1-1 too.
Yeah, I actually think that Hall has been playing a lot better than 7.
Yes. 100%.
It's so, and the same with Drew. Like he's 8 at 3-0. Like they're not.
But he's only played 2 games.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the bye week stuff later.
Yeah.
I mean, like, man, look at how they've been playing this season.
Yeah.
It's just such a crowded upper half right now.
Yeah, there's
like,
nobody really like
playing.
There's
really
very
good.
little differentiation between like 4 and like 8. Like a lot of them is just like right now it's. You could completely randomize this order. It's not random, but you know what I mean. And you'd be like, yeah, that's fair. I could justify any of those.
Yeah, there is just like inherent bias right now in 4 to 8 because it's just not. There's no reasonable objective way to look at it. Everyone's playing out of their mind there.
Yeah.
And playing like I know everyone this season. Most players have been doing really good and trying hard, but like with Drew, he's been getting results. He's won every set. Like, why isn't he in the top 3? It's just early. It just needs to, it needs to even out a little bit as the season goes on. And he'll stay up there if he keeps playing that way.
And David didn't play this week, so he's
right
around
David,
where he was before.
Yep, no
Ernest
comment on David.
Ernest got you got gooped pretty hard. But we just dropped you down a little bit.
He's playing well that he doesn't drop too far.
Yeah. Right here, like 10, 11, 12. I think you guys are the best team under 500, and it's not even close. Like, you guys are playing really well. The wins are gonna come, and you'll get the dubs, especially Adam. His
Adam.
beginning of the season is still very difficult. But he'll come around and he'll start pulling out games. Just wait until you play Tyranitar and you're gonna love your life.
Oh, for sure.
Ethan was gaming. Shout out to Ethan.
Yeah, shout out Ethan for sticking to his game plan as much as it's funny and inconsistent. It is. You got a really nice win this week.
THT, you got smacked. So you're 14 now. You dropped a little bit. You got gooped. That's really it.
Yeah.
Like we didn't even get to really see like what your game plan was. You just kind of got beat. So
I think Chris is a prime factor of when does his team get to free agency.
Yeah. Then Dante at 15. Again, for Dante's history in our league and everything, he's playing really well. It's just a matter of understanding, like, game situation, which will come in time. And Jordan is, example, at 16. He's played 2 games. Granted, they weren't good matchups. There will come times where you will not be able to break through the pink blob.
Played all Blissey Dusclops, yeah, no shot. Yeah. Certain teams can't handle that, but certain teams with a really, really cool Metacham can.
Yeah. And at 17, we got Aaron. Aaron got gooped a little bit.
Yeah, Aaron got atomiced, which when we've seen this happen in Little Cup, it's pretty much the exact same thing.
Yeah, just you put the time in, like actually think and put things together. You know, run numbers, use calc. You know, think about things. But,
I do think Aaron Jordan, though, next week, if they do play, will be a fun match. I think on paper, those two teams have a really silly potential set.
It's very silly.
So I'm excited
Jordan
to see.
Is very excited to fight Metacham again.
Exactly. And I'm sure Aaron is going to love when Reggie sits on the field and does absolutely nothing to Blissey.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it for this week.
Yes. Good job, everyone, for getting your games in. Thank you for letting us record this on a Sunday.
Yes. So this will be up for the holiday on Monday.
Yes.
And we will. It is unknown how the heck we're going to continue doing this because I start work on Tuesday.
We'll figure it out.
So, and my Mondays, I work long days. So if you guys get all your gaming done on Sunday or by Sunday, we can have this out for Monday. Otherwise, it's probably going to be like midweek. So if you want the PR on time, play your games early. That's your bottom dollar guarantee. So thanks for listening. Have a good day, Hags.